Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the BJJ Foxcast. I am your host, Aimee Martinez, and today we have Chris and Ciji Smith of Warrior Hydration and Wellness. Warrior Hydration and Wellness is, I'll let Ciji and Chris talk about what they are, but they started in 2022. Chris is a firefighter. He is a world champion jiu-jitsu player at, did you win worlds at Blue?
Yep.
At Blue Belt, and a former ASU wrestler. And I say more about him because I know more about him. But Ciji, you've been a RN for 7 years, worked in ICU, and you're a nurse practitioner.
Yes.
Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. But before we kick off, I got to do a quick little thing. I got to give a shout out. We have a new sponsor, Bioprotein Technology. I'm taking the Bioprotein Plus. It's like it's supposed to like rebuild and regenerate like at a cellular level. And there's no pills, there's no shots, there's no anything. It's like a sublingual kind of thing that you take morning and evening. And I feel like I've grown another lung with the stuff. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's really good. It's really good. And at my age, I'm looking for any little edge I can get.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. So tell me about Warrior. I mean, you guys have enough on your plate with all the stuff that you have going on. Why did you start this business? What is about it?
Yeah, so about a year ago, I was just starting to finish up the last half of my master's program for nurse practitioner, and I was just like, this is not the perfect time to start a business. But we decided to jump on it because we love the preventative health. We are very much into the fitness industry. We've been in it together probably at 20 years each. And medical, I've been in it since I was like 19, 20 years old. So preventative medicine was like a huge passion of mine. So I loved it. And then we were able to kind of incorporate and got a little bit more knowledge about the vitamins and IV therapy. And that's when we just like kicked it off and we're like, this is what we want to do. I started helping out a friend of mine and she was amazing, kind of super supportive and like, you should keep doing this and do it as your nurse practitioner. And it just like grew even more. And then we opened up Warrior Hydration. And then once I got my nurse practitioner, we kind of like renamed it as Warrior Hydration and Wellness so that we can provide additional services. So we focus on everybody from all of the community, athletes. We focus on health and preventative medicine and acute illnesses too. So when you're sick, it's not just that, or it's hangover too. You know, everybody gets a viral infection, and COVID was a huge thing. And this kicked off like the home health kind of initiative of taking care of yourself from home, right? We were all like isolated and didn't know how to treat ourselves, and vitamin therapy had just skyrocketed. It's like multi-billion-dollar industry that needs to be looked at in a very preventative kind of fashion. So wholesome aspect. So that's kind of why we started it, was to help our community and try to offer these services without having to go to the ER or go to the hospital for, you know, IV therapy that you didn't get any vitamins or supplements with.
Yeah. That's pretty typical, right? When you start an IV, you don't put anything in it. Like,
yeah, you just get the fluids that are in the bag. You know, and when you go to the hospital, especially, you're gonna get all you're really gonna get is those fluids, maybe some Zofran, you know, and that's pretty much it.
What's that? Zofran?
Zofran, it's an antiemetic, so it's nausea medicine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Amy and I were talking just the other day about, you know, her job and how she's treating people at her job that are our age.
Oh,
you know,
or younger.
And you think about people, I mean, a lot of it's spine issues, stuff like that.
Yep.
But there's people who are just not very healthy that, I don't know what it is. It's just not their thing, I guess, to take care of themselves. It's not something they think about.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of the preventive stuff, I would imagine your guys' business could be a lot more preventive, right? It's just like seeing your dentist before you have a toothache, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people that get IVs from us, you know, we talk to people about doing it before you go on a trip, because then you get that immunity built up. You get on a plane, you know, you get sick from everybody on the plane or wherever you go. And then we tell people to do it before and when you get home as well. You know, you don't have to do like, we have the big 1,000 bags and we also have the half 500 bags.
Yeah.
So you can do a 500 before you go, but you're still going to get all the vitamins and nutrients. And then you can do 1,000 when you get back to help you rehydrate and give you more of those vitamins and nutrients, just to help kick anything that you may have gotten while you were on your trip.
Yeah.
You know, and even before competitions or any sporting events, we have baseball players come to the house. They do it before a big tournament because they're playing in the summertime.
Yeah.
You know, and they need
That's brutal here.
Yeah, they need the electrolytes and the fluids and all that stuff.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, it's super important, like for, you know, the immediate need, but like no one really thinks about when they travel, like everything that happens. For me, when I travel, it's inflammation.
Yep.
Like bad. Like, I mean, sitting on the plane, you know, in a car I don't own, sleeping in a bed that's not mine. My body's just, I mean, I'm 50 years old too. That doesn't help. But honestly, like I'm in pretty good shape and I come back pretty beat up from our trips, right? Yeah. So would it help with that?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's so many vitamins you can add in, and the general like minimum vitamins that you can get in are like 9 to 10, but there's a multitude of more that you can add in for thyroid health, for, you know, zinc in high doses that can help with testosterone and thyroid, just synthesizing thyroid hormones. So people who have hypothyroid, there's so much more that goes into it. That's anti-inflammatory, antioxidants that you can do to boost up. And what I tell people, because then there's always this like, well, I take all my vitamins every day, right? And it's like, great, you should be doing that.
Yeah.
But what it is like, take this cup, right? And it's like half full, but every day you're draining it, just like you're drinking your normal water. But if I give you the IVs, it's going to top it all the way off and fill you up, because your GI system can only absorb so much of those pills that you take every day. For example, vitamin C, your GI tract only absorbs about 250 milligrams, but your vitamin C capsule is probably about 500 to 1,000 milligrams. Where does it go? Right into the toilet and flush down. And that's where you hear that misconception of physicians are like, well, it's just a waste of money. You're pissing your money down the drain. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. They're water soluble at some point when you ingest them. But when you go through IV therapy, they're 100% absorbed and utilized within 10 to 14 days. They start to wear off because you've used them all.
Oh, wow.
So it gives you a long-term benefit of it. And that's what he was saying with like when you go on a trip or you're being preventative, you're helping reduce those by topping off your cup. And then you use them as you wear out while you're on your trip. And then you come back and you're like, okay, I'm kind of like, okay. And then you top off again. Yeah. So that's kind of where it's at. And we really need to focus on like the misconception of this sick care model. And that was where me changing into an advanced practitioner nursing role was to help kind of like bring that preventative medicine to the forefront of at least one provider thinking we need to be preventative in what we're doing and not treat a sick person. We need to prevent them from getting sick.
And what did you call that? Sick? You called it something. You said
sick model?
Sick model, yeah. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
Everybody's sick, right? Yeah. So everybody's sick. And that's where we've grown in the hospital settings. And that's what I started to feel like that's not where I wanted to fulfill the rest of my career. So I loved what I did in intensive care unit. I loved it. Days of crying, days of happy, days of all things. But I do love the preventative medicine now. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you guys, sorry, I'm going to go right back to this because I love what you said about the sick model versus what preventive model, right?
Yeah, like a health model.
Yeah, health model. So how do you guys not get jaded with everything you see every day? I mean, how do you keep caring?
Yeah, no, but I was going to say,
but you still
listen
care
to me when I come home from work.
but you still care, right? How do you maintain that level of like compassion, right? When you're just like, man, these guys are doing this to themselves, typically, right? I mean, not always. I mean, there's always accidents.
Sometimes, I mean, in what I do, I mean, there's an aspect of maybe you could have been a little more active in your own health. Yep. Yeah. But then I also have some dude that fell 10 foot off a ladder and now he's never walking again. Yeah. You know, he didn't do that on purpose. Right. Any more than the guy who had to have spine surgery because he's 100 pounds overweight. Yeah. You know, he didn't intentionally do that. Yeah. But then he's had the surgery and he's motivated as hell to get back to his regular life. Yep. Yeah. But definitely jaded.
The jaded comes out, and you probably correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're in the moment of caring for that person, it's not on the table. You walk, you leave work, you clock out, you come home, you're like, what the hell? Like, this is just, like, I don't understand how it's like I can repeat myself 20,000 times, but it really just comes down to, it is common sense. I tell people, I'm not any smarter than you. I'm not. I learn all the same things that you can learn. You can read books, you can research articles. I just am obsessed with it. And that's what a big difference is. It's just, I can spread all my information to you and you can choose to use it or not. And that's where it's like, are you motivated enough to utilize it and implement it in your life to become healthier? Some people, I see it, and some people are like, okay. And I can see the blankness, and it's like, are we not understanding it, or you just don't care? Yeah. You know, I'm happy with where I'm at. Okay, that's fine. I did my job, and I teach you, and I can move on. Maybe we can get it from next time.
Yeah, even from a coaching standpoint, right? Like we spent our lives, you know, with grappling, right? And then you'll have somebody who's spent 10 seconds doing what we do, and you try to correct or you try to help them, and they're like, yeah, I know.
Ciji knows I hate those two words. Those are my least favorite words for somebody to say.
From nurses too, trust me, huh?
Yeah,
Aimee?
Oh, definitely. Well, and
The little newbies.
he's saying,
Come on,
I know,
it's okay.
I know. And I'm like, oh, he's talking about me.
No, it's not. It's not.
I've
just
done that to him a lot. And he's like, okay.
Well-
and then he walks away and he's so mad.
Well, you know, when I still do private lessons, even as a black belt, I still seek out that knowledge that other people have. And whenever I'm going into my private lesson, I just blank. I just give them a blank canvas. Like, talk to me like I just started. Right? Maybe I do know a few things, but I'm not going to say, oh, yeah. And then I can do, no. I'm just going to shut up and, you know, and absorb it, like you said, right? Accept that information. A lot of people, I don't know if it's ego, I don't know what it is, but a lot of people have an issue with that, right?
They do, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said with grappling, I mean, we wrestled forever, but I still learn even from people who wrestled. You know, they didn't wrestle in college, but maybe they saw something, a little trick, or it's the same thing. You know, and I'll pick it up and take it. I don't
I
have
have
that
a
ego.
question.
Yeah.
Based off of the jiu-jitsu world, like, do you feel that people are apprehensive of learning because it's almost like a competition?
Somewhat.
Like, I'll be up against you one day. I don't want to.
No.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't want to let you know the weakness that I have.
No, it's not even to that level. Like, I'm talking about people who haven't spent that much time. Like, I'll probably never compete with my students unless, you know, they're way old. You know what I mean? And then I'm still grappling when they're a black belt, right? So that level, it's not even at that level. It's when, you know, you learn just enough to get yourself in trouble. You know what I mean? Like if somebody learned about your business but didn't, like, you're passionate about it, obviously, right? And you poured your life into it. And people that dabble will be like, oh yeah, I know, I know about that stuff. You've read one article, right? You haven't really dug into it, right? And that's a similar thing. Like you've done case study after case study, probably, and same thing with grappling. Like the proof is in his repertoire, right, or his resume, so to speak. And when somebody doesn't have that resume, I hate to say it's not a respecting, because they do respect you, but they're like, when they use the words "I know," that means they've shut off their ability to learn, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. I'll actually be like, okay, we're done.
Yep. Good to go.
You got it. You're good then. Good luck.
Yeah. So let's go back real quick. You had talked about being in athletics for 20 plus years. What did you do? What kind of sports did you do?
So being in high school, I did cheer. That was like the small town kind of life that I led. But I wish I would have done so many more sports in high school. But afterwards, I had moved away and got really interested in bodybuilding.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was really tiny. I was under 100 pounds. I wasn't even able to donate blood like my senior year. And I was like, I'm going to like start building this. And obviously there was influences from other like directions, but I started like lifting weights really heavy, and I loved it. So I competed one time, and in like a physique competition when I was like 21. And I did really well, but I didn't like how I was judged. And I give those women like so much credit for being up there, and you're so vulnerable and they pick you apart.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like that. And I don't feel like my confidence was very good when I felt that way. But I started like just diving into the nutrition and how I feel and how do my muscles look and how does my body feel. And I think my 20s, I spent it on building a physique versus like, how do I feel and how does my daily nutrition help that?
Yeah.
And so from, I think 20s, and then, you know, I had my daughter, and then it was like, okay, now got to get back to like pre-pregnant weight. And that seemed a little bit easier. But I think over the last, now I'll be 40, but the last 20 years has just been built on how do you maintain a healthy weight and like muscle balance, because that's going to help with like longevity.
Absolutely.
And that's where I feel like it has transitioned over time.
Yeah.
So that was kind of mine. And I love sports. I will play any sport. I loved softball. I played co-ed softball like all through my 20s. I loved it. So many injuries, but it was amazing. And I really love it. I'll go back out there now, but I hurt myself.
Oh,
I
yeah,
hurt myself
all the time.
a lot. I'm like, oh, that didn't go very well, because I'm not conditioned for it anymore. Yeah. But arm will get thrown out. But it's so fun. I love
Pop
that
a hamstring,
Dude,
you know.
why?
My 70-year-old mother Still plays senior softball.
That's true. That's
She
true.
was
I
when
will
she
come play
started.
with
She
her.
was the youngest on the team.
Yeah.
At mid-50s,
Oh my
That's
gosh.
awesome.
She's a
and now
champ.
she's 70.
Damn, that's so
She,
cool.
And-
she talked about somebody like 90 years old on her team or something
Yeah.
like that.
Oh,
Yes.
they're freaking adorable.
That would have been your,
longevity.
that would have been your
Yeah.
great grandparents.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I come from good genes.
Good genes.
Her
Yeah.
great grandpa was huge into health and fitness. Like he had
That's probably where I got it from.
Before his time.
he had log books in his office. He wrote down what he did every single day.
Wow.
And I mean
For
for
his workout.
like 50 years, 50 years of log books.
What? Do you
He
guys
had
still
a
have
pull-up
that?
bar
Well,
in every
they're at his
door.
house. Your grandma's living there now.
We should ask her.
We should ask her if we can get those because I
That'd
would
be
love to
so
see his.
cool.
It's probably the
But-
door that's closed. It was Grandpa's office. Like
Yeah.
that was
Wow.
his space. But yeah. When we were young, like he would always when we would come in as like women, as us like young girls, he'd be like, "Let me look," and he'd look at your calves, and that could tell you like how well you were maintaining your health. I was just like, "Okay, you got defined calves, you're good."
Really?
That was his thing for
I'm like,
women.
okay,
No
great.
Yeah.
kidding.
I've literally never had defined calves in my entire life, and I'm in the best shape of my
I
life
have no
now.
idea.
Still no calf definition. Tree
He was-
trunks.
But going back
my
to
gosh.
co-ed softball. Well, I played in a league with her dad and her brother and a bunch of his friends. We just,
and my cousins. Yeah.
And I'm not, cousins also. And I would like be sliding into second, and I'm sliding going, why?
Head
Yeah.
first, feet
Why?
first.
Yeah,
That's
feet
the
first.
question. Oh,
Feet
okay.
first. Yeah, not head first. I don't want it that bad. But I'm sliding. I'm like, why? This is gonna hurt. Like,
Yeah, you
why am
know-
I doing this? Yeah, I'm in
Hey,
shorts.
You got to win. You got
Gotta
that
win.
competitive
Yes.
heart.
He's
Oh,
very
yeah.
competitive.
For sure.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was doing triathlon, and I was getting ready for a full distance triathlon. Big mistake trying to do both.
Yeah.
So there were days where my legs were fried because I do like hills on the bike or whatever,
Oh,
and then I
yeah.
got to play that night. And I would hit the ball, and I'm literally trying not to fall. I'm just propelling myself forward and getting my feet under me so I don't fall.
Yeah, like a baby giraffe.
Yeah, like a baby giraffe.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, you could have made it second."
Yeah.
No, I couldn't.
You can't slide to first. You can't slide to first.
Yeah.
Sure
yeah.
you can. You'll just
Love
be a
it.
highlight reel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. How about
love
you?
it.
How did you get started in wrestling?
So we got started when we were 5.
That's right. You and your brother, I keep forgetting.
In
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah.
One of our friends, his dad was a wrestling coach in Vegas. And
Okay.
so Mike and I used to beat the living shit out of each other all the time. So I think my parents were just like, you guys go do this. You
Yeah.
know? So we started there. Then we moved out here when we were 7. And they didn't really have any wrestling programs like they do now,
Yeah.
like kids wrestling programs. And so we would just do camps at Highland.
Okay.
Coach Figueroa was our coach there.
Yeah.
And so when we were 7, we started doing camps with him.
What
They would-
year was that?
Oh, geez. That was 1990.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So we would do camps with him every summer and every winter. And then when we finally got into junior high is when they had wrestling programs.
Wow.
And so then we started again in junior high. But you know, you go against people that have wrestled just as long as you in junior high. So 7th grade, we got our asses kicked
I'm sure.
all the time.
Yeah.
And then come 8th grade was a whole different ballgame because we had progressed. We had some really good coaches from Oklahoma. And then this family called the Jobs, they were our coaches in 8th grade. They helped us out tremendously and made us these really good grapplers and just aggressive grapplers.
Yeah.
So then 8th grade was just nonstop. We were kicking butt, and then it just went on from there.
Wow. Okay. And how did you? I mean, it's your hometown, so I assume you picked ASU because it was your hometown.
Yep.
But who else were you recruited by?
What was it? University of Pennsylvania, Wartburg. Gosh, what was the other one? It wasn't Iowa. It was a Division II school in Iowa.
Okay.
And then there was a lot of like D2, D3 schools.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to stay at ASU.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a right fit. Because a lot of people that wrestled for Iowa back in the day in Oklahoma, they all came from those states, you know.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And wrestle for Arizona State, and so that's kind of why I just stayed and did
That's
that.
cool. Yeah. I think there's something about that. Like, you know, kids from Texas want to play ball for Texas, right?
Yep.
Oklahoma, same way. The only one is, oh gosh, there was a running back that played for Oklahoma, and then he played for the Vikings. Adrian Peterson.
He's
He's the most hated person in Texas.
yeah.
Other than Mac Brown. Mac
Yeah.
Brown recruited him, and there was a guy named Cedric Benson who was a starting running back for the team. And Mac Brown's like, oh, we're going to be loyal to him. That's why he went to Oklahoma.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody hates them both.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what saved Mac Brown was he won a national championship. That kind of helps. but before that, he was pretty hated.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, but sorry, I digress.
Wow.
Well, it's cool to have local kids that get to wrestle for the college, because then all the other high schools that watched you grow up, they get to see you now in college, and they you kind of have like this little following of people, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think that's a great move. So you and your brother got to go to ASU together.
Yep,
that's really cool.
Yep,
that's really cool. Yeah. So did you guys meet at ASU, or where'd you guys meet?
No, we met in Gilbert.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
we were done with you were done with ASU, starting the fire academy, and I was working as a server, I think, just
Something
going
like
through
that.
community college, getting to prereqs and stuff like that, and all this transitioning, living on your own and working 2 jobs and trying to do all that. But we ended up meeting, through through your brother.
Yep.
And now sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're friends, but they were friends hanging out back then, and it was just kind of like we'd go out to the bars and hang out, all of us, and then it just kind of morphed into us hanging out more.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Well, listen, we have you brought some IVs with you. Do you want to pause and get those going, or how long does it take? Should we do it after?
No, we can do it now.
Let's do it during.
Yeah.
Let's do it during, because
'cause
it's like 30 minutes. You'll probably
Perfect.
you have great veins. You have great veins.
Yeah, you want to set it up now,
Let's
and
do it.
we can pause. I mean, we
dehydrated
can
right
keep
now.
this going
Perfect.
while you set it up. That's totally good.
Yeah, I'll talk while you. CG's
do
the
it.
master. of this
Yeah, there
stuff.
we go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
She'll get you guys all dialed in.
Yeah, I prefer the nurse practitioner over the firefighter.
I
Sorry,
would
pal.
too. I wear a helmet to work, so
Let me tug all of it.
We were talking. Aimee and I were talking about this when I was a service technician for a company. I made good money, and I did my own schedule, and it was the best job ever. Like, no one messes with you. And there were these guys that went to like engineering schools, and they were always like frustrated, and they're not making great money, but they're making good money, so they kind of put up with the shit. And I was telling Aimee, I was like, I had a better life, and I had my name on my shirt for crying out. Exactly. But yeah, so that's something, man. We're actually at the party this weekend. Was basically firefighters from your
from
place.
the department.
From your department. And it's one thing, like, yes, you guys, you do a lot of EMS stuff. You guys do a lot of. I would imagine fire is like 1% of what you do, right?
It's like I think last year our stats were like 8% of our calls were fire. It's,
and that's a good thing.
Especially with how fires are nowadays. They called the old fires legacy fires. So the legacy materials, cottons, fabrics, silk, that kind of stuff. Now it's all synthetic shit.
Wow.
And the carcinogens and the toxic chemicals that come off of these things when they burn, it leaches into your skin, and that's why firefighters are dying of cancer all the time.
We went through a time here locally where firefighters were getting that at least checked for that kind of stuff, right? Yep. I think your union fought for it. Yeah. And you guys got it. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I'm on the cancer committee for our department.
Okay.
And we were able to secure a grant through the government that got us all of our firefighters, and we broke it down by age. So if you're 30 to 35, you got X, Y, and Z. If you're 35 to 40, and then above 40, you got all the stuff. So everybody got the full body MRI, which is the full body MRI is huge because we not only caught cancers, but they caught arterial blockages in people's hearts.
Wow.
They found I had an infarct in my cerebellum. That's however old. They just find all these little things on top of the cancers that we found. And we caught cancer early in 10 of our people. Wow. Especially one of them, who's a really good friend of mine. We were in the academy together. Had they not caught that cancer, he'd been dead in 5 years.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they were able to.
What cancer was it?
Liver cancer.
No shit.
Yep.
And they caught it early?
They caught it early.
Thank God, man. Yeah. That's awesome.
So it was unbelievable to see how much of an impact just our cancer committee was able to have on our department.
Yeah.
So it's huge. And we're trying to get it now to where every 5 years we get these done. And then we want to look at in the future when guys get ready to retire, guys or girls, when they get ready to retire, get them to all these screenings before they retire, like 6 months.
Yeah.
So you have this clean bill of health going into retirement, and then it's your job after that to maintain, you know.
Or you can have pre-existing conditions that you can be treated for.
Yes.
Right. As you retire.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool too.
Well, and so they do have a thing where, because they keep your medical records on file or your records on file for 30 years. So if you do come down with something, I can't remember the time frame. It's like 5 years or 6 years, something like that after retirement. you can go back and look and see if you had a fire or something that caused that cancer. Then you can be covered by the city.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know that, and
It's crazy.
isn't it crazy?
It's crazy.
And
neat. I mean,
but how?
if anybody deserves that kind of coverage, it's you guys.
Well, 100%.
Thank you.
And my big question is, like, why do you have to fight for that kind of stuff? I mean, there's got to be a long history of firefighters coming down with this stuff. I mean, the guys in New York that dealt with, the towers.
9/11 and all that.
I mean, they had to have gone through fires before that.
Oh, absolutely,
right?
yeah.
In those buildings with all of that crap in it that was used in the 80s and before.
Yeah.
That, call it asbestos. I don't know what the hell it is. I mean, all that stuff. And the fact that you just have to, thank God that you guys fought for it. But the fact that you have to fight for it kind of bothers me.
Yeah, and and it's just one of those things that it's I don't know if the cities necessarily want to do it because it costs money for them a little bit, but it seems like it would just be a logical thing to be like, yes, you guys, this is the job you do, this is the exposures you guys have, let's just cover it, you know. But I think they want equal opportunity for all employees of every city. So it's like, if we do it for you, we're gonna have to do it for everybody.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, yeah, I get that, but people that sit behind a desk all day, they're not exposed to the stuff that we're exposed to.
Correct.
When we go into people's houses, we fight fire, which we don't fight that much fire, but when we do, the stuff we're doing now burns hotter, faster, and it's more toxic to us.
Wow.
And it's
and that's just the materials, like you said, that we use now.
Just the shit that's burning in people's houses, Everything's plastic or whatever.
This house will kill you. It was built in 77. Yeah, just let this thing burn. Don't put this son of a bitch out.
I have been asking to light the garage on fire for years now.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
we're not starting a fire. My insurance guy said that
sort
it's
of kidding, but not entirely kidding.
Yeah.
My insurance guy said it's not illegal to be stupid. So it's not technically arson if you're just an idiot.
That's
So,
true. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yes, you did cause it, but you're kind of moron. So anyway, yeah. So I should do it if anyone does it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
More believable.
Yeah. I think this house was built in 77.
Wow.
And our neighborhood is, this little circle was built around the same time. So all of the houses in our circle are custom.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Which is why we have stairs in literally
every room.
Every
room has stairs. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. There's a house that looks like an old Pizza Hut. Remember the old Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The red barn looking?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of looks like that. It's just odd. But believe it or not, there's like several people in this neighborhood, in this circle, that are original owners.
No shit.
Yeah, of their house. Yeah. So we found that out when the little guy got out once, and we
Yeah.
had to go search for him. So yeah.
That was like our house in Gilbert that we had. We were just off of Gilbert and Elliott, right on the train tracks. And when we moved in, the one guy, this guy Ron, this old guy who was our next door neighbor, he's like, yeah, everybody's been here since these houses were built in '83.
Wow.
And we're like, holy crap, that's
Yeah.
when I was born. You guys were buying houses.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's wild. But what made you want to do the fire department?
So when I was at ASU, I was, you bounce through different degrees and all this stuff. And I was like, there's nothing here that is that fascinating to me. So we did a ride along with a friend of ours who we wrestled with in high school. He was already on the job. And Mike and I did a ride along with him together, and we ran our first call, and we're like, dude, this is it. Like,
Really?
this is so cool.
Yeah.
It's so fun, going lights and sirens. And now I'm kind of like, whatever, but back then it's like, this is awesome. And then, we get to talking, doing interviews, and, you go through the process of it. You realize it's a damn good job.
Yeah.
We work 48, at least in my department, we do 48-96. So I'm 2 days on, 4 days off.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you get a lot of time off, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know a firefighter that doesn't have a side gig.
Yeah, I know, because you got so much time off. You can do a
Gotta
lot
do
of
something.
stuff. You do. Otherwise, you'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
You'll get yourself in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, I know firefighters that drink a lot
Yeah,
because, I mean, they have no responsibilities other than
you get home and you're
gotta show
like,
up.
yeah, I don't have to go to the gym. I don't have to go do nothing.
Yeah. And that's another thing I was going to bring up. Like, yes, 8% of your calls are fire, but you've got to train hard for that 8%.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Like Ciji and I were just talking on the way over here about the job of an engineer, right? So the engineer is the guy who drives the fire truck. But when you get on a fire, you're responsible for getting the supply line off the truck and getting water to your truck. So your guys have water inside, right? Because we only carry 500 gallons, and you can burn through 500 gallons with a normal line that we take in. You got maybe 3 minutes inside that fire, and then you're out of water. Whoa. So we got to connect to the hydrant. sometimes your hydrants are 100 feet away. Sometimes they're 200, 300, just depends on where the hydrants are in the neighborhood or wherever you're fighting that fire. But to what we call handjacking is you by yourself pulling off 200 feet of 5-inch supply line. 5-inch supply line, when 100 foot's rolled up, that damn thing weighs like 150, 200 pounds.
Wow.
And so you got 2 of those, and then you got all the friction of the ground.
Yep.
And then you're trying to run to the hydrant. It's tough work.
Yeah.
That's how I tore my Achilles.
That's what I was going to say. It could it could play hell on your limbs, on your tendons and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you still have to be able to, work after that.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to do all that and then still have to do other stuff. So you're not just sitting there relaxing.
I can feel my heart rate up already just thinking about pulling that 200-pound hose across.
It's gnarly. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And especially when it's hot like this.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the
now.
ass.
Do you guys do like annual qualifications for that stuff? Because I know you're probably do it in your academy, right? You got to run hoses and carry stuff. Do you guys do any of that periodically or no?
Well, we do, like, crews will do training and stuff, and especially when we have new guys, when we have booters, we'll do training with them and stuff. Yeah. But we do, every year we have to do a breathe down. So you have to breathe down an entire bottle. And we have like a bunch of events you have to do.
What do you mean breathe down a bottle? What does that mean?
So our SCBA bottles that we wear inside the fire, you have to be able to breathe that thing down. And then so we'll do a bunch of events. You gotta climb the tower, crawl around, pull a hose, sledgehammer, all that kind of stuff that we would do on a fire ground.
Yeah.
And then when your bottle goes off, so meaning like it starts to vibrate, meaning you're low on air.
Yeah.
Then you stop doing that and you have to do a mayday call. So then you have to have your wits about you to be able to do a mayday call. And then from there you breathe down the rest of the air and you work on your skip breathing so you can reserve your air. So in case you were in that situation, you can have it for a long time until guys come to find you.
Is that like box breathing where you kind of breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Skip breathing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you work on that while you're tired because a lot of people don't realize how claustrophobic you can feel inside that mask.
Yeah.
And then when you have all this gear on and then you're working out and the gear doesn't breathe at all. So you're hot no matter, even if it's the wintertime, you're sweating your nuts off inside of it,
Yeah.
So it can be challenging.
I
we
bet.
do that. And then we do a confidence course every other year. And the confidence course is basically they test your comfortability with small spaces, being blacked out. So they put you through these tiny little holes in all your gear. You got to find your way in the dark. So they black out your mask and then you're on air the whole time. And then you got to do radio traffic and all that stuff. So there's some things that we do, but we train quite often to just stay prepared all the time. And most of the guys on the job, most guys and girls, they all train because we have gyms at the station. Yeah. And you're required to do an hour a day of training.
Wow.
So most people do try and stay in shape.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Well, I'm sure every station has one or two people that are just those guys that maybe they can cook.
Yeah.
But
you're like, hey, just stay back. We got this. Yeah. Make sure the food's hot when we get back.
Man. What about your job now? So you were, does it go like firefighter, engineer, and then what's above?
Captain.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just got promoted.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So I'm captain now. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So tell me about that. How does that process work? When are you ready to be a captain?
Well, so, after 5 years on the job, you're eligible to take the captain's test, but in our city, you have to have passed the engineer's test successfully.
Gotcha.
So you know every role on the truck, right?
Yeah.
I waited longer because I wanted to learn the job really well. So I waited 10 years before I tested for engineer, and then I didn't test for captain until I was an engineer for 7 years because I got 17 years on the job.
Wow.
Now. So I wanted to be very proficient in all the positions, and I'm a medic as well. So I wanted to know everybody's position, like a quarterback on the job.
Yeah.
Just in case somebody was deficient or whatever, I could help them out with it. Yeah. So my job now as a captain is I manage my crew. So I have 4 firefighters. Well, technically, 4 because I have 3 on my truck. And then I have 1 on the ambulance at my station that I'm responsible for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just it's a management position, but so I'm basically in charge and
do you still go to calls and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when we go on big calls, I'll be in command of the call. If we're first on scene, I'll be the commanding officer, and I dictate what we're going to do for that call. And then as higher ranking, like our battalion chiefs get on scene, then I'll pass command off to them, and then I'll become a sector officer for that call.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And what is it? your responsibility must change, right? Because you're not the commanding officer. But what does a sector guy do?
So whatever sector you're in. So like if you're on a regular house fire.
Oh, so you break it up into areas.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, just for the span of control, you know.
Yeah.
So then you have like one crew. I'd be like interior sector, so I'd be inside the house. So I manage the crews that are on the inside of the house, that kind of thing.
Yeah. When I was stationed in South America, we had a rainy season and a dry season. And in dry season, we had so many fires. It's Panama City.
Yeah.
There were so many fires that unless it was like a structure fire, like they wouldn't even respond to it.
Oh, really?
They just let it burn out.
Wow.
There was just too many.
Yeah, you can't keep up.
Yeah, you can't keep up.
Yeah.
So, thank goodness, you know, when rainy season came, ain't nothing burning.
Yeah, you can't.
Everything's wet all the time.
You can't burn anything.
Yeah,
even with gasoline.
Yeah, even when you're not wet, you're just sweaty. So you're safe.
Yeah.
At least from a fire, right? But yeah, so when Ciji's coming back. Okay,
I have to warn you because
Ooh, I feel it now.
Did you do NAD?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh,
grab
yeah.
your little rolling
Do you have your
clamp
roller?
down there.
Yeah, I got it.
Did you do
Grab
an analysis
yours.
too?
Yeah.
What do I do?
Oh, you're gonna want
Just
that
grab
roller
your
clamp,
roller
buddy.
clamp.
Yeah.
I already
feel
turned it down.
all over my body, already.
What do I do?
I gave you
Holy snap.
NAD, which
Okay.
is a really awesome coenzyme. Like as you get older,
Yeah.
we lose it, right? By the age of 20, we're already
Yeah,
deficient.
slow it down, babe. Slow it down.
So
Well,
roll that roller down.
got you.
Towards me?
Yeah.
You're going to feel a little bit
Slow
of
it down.
anxiety.
Yeah. Holy shit balls. That's why I
If
was
you are
slow
like
it down.
balls to the wall on this thing,
Yeah.
he does. He gets like, he can describe his, but anyway, it's a coenzyme. It's super helpful in making mitochondria more effective and more efficient in making energy.
Yeah.
So it's like mental clarity,
Oh, yeah, I can feel it.
cognition.
Yeah, give it.
You get that?
That's awesome.
So
This is really cool.
this is all like stops. If you stop that, it'll stop.
Oh, we're not
It's-
stopping
You can roll
anything.
it. You can roll it all the way down, and it'll stop.
Oh no, we're not stopping. Let's do this.
Keep that train running,
during
baby.
your
Yeah.
infusion, you'll have a little bit increased heart rate, almost like you're about to jump off into an anxiety attack.
Yep,
Yeah.
totally.
And I always try to warn you, like worst case scenario, right? But you can have like some flushing, like of the upper. You can have nasal congestion. You can have just feel a little bit of warm in your heart, where you're almost like, is this a cardiovascular event or is this just like this? So you can stop your titration. I always let you have control of it. However, he goes balls to the wall.
Yeah.
So he's like, just do it all. And
I
I just
can
gave
feel
you
it in
like,
my nose.
Yeah.
you have it. Like that's how I
I
get
feel it in my legs,
but it'll go
my
away.
legs are really like anxious.
Yeah. That's how I get. I'm
How
like,
dumb is that?
I want to
Turn it
move my
down.
legs.
Yeah.
But as soon as you
it's down,
stop
it's
it,
down.
like if you stop that drip, it'll be like 10 seconds, it'll all go away.
Okay.
And that's how effectively it works. So after you're all done with your infusion, you don't have any effects, but you get all the benefits of it. Improved cognition, you'll have like energy. You can do these in the IV, or you can give yourself injections of it. So we do injections. Chris does injections of it. He loves it.
Yep.
You get a little bit of that
the
flushing,
guinea
kind of
pig. 15
minutes. And then you're like, he's like, I'm ready to go. Like, let's do this. So it's really great, especially before like competitions and stuff.
Yeah.
That I would highly recommend it to athletes. I filled your guys' bag
Sounds
with like
awesome.
almost everything.
Awesome. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
Yes.
you guys are gonna feel great.
Yeah.
So I wanted to forward you.
yellow
I gave it to her. I'm like, here you go, slow it down.
And
then
I
yours,
knew
I'm like,
I knew what it
I
was
should
about
slow
because I
it down.
talked to Tom and Tiffany, who had gotten
Yeah.
it from you guys,
Yep.
and Tiffany was like, "Yeah, I got nauseous really fast." And I was like, "Okay, I know about this. I'm slowing it down before she's even injected it into the bag."
yeah, I didn't do a lot. I only did like 100 milligrams. You can go up to 1,000. It's really awesome, but I would really say start at 100 and then
Yeah.
kind of just go for like 250 or more. But I have autoimmune diseases, amazing for autoimmune because it decreases inflammation. It almost reverses the effects of it trying to attack the body and making it more beneficial to the body.
Oh, okay.
Super amazing
That's
enzyme.
tremendous.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your business model. So you guys are a mobile IV thing, right? So you don't have brick and mortar. You just work out of a car, and you wherever somebody calls you, you go.
Like right here. You
Yeah.
just call me, I come to you, and you like, yeah, at hotels. We've done events for like bachelor parties, bridal parties. We've done at people's, I've done it in my own car, like volleyball. They're like,
Oh,
I
tournaments.
am not feeling great. I'm like,
Yep.
all right, let's go. Let's hook it up. And luckily I bring all my stuff with me and we're like hooked up in the trunk of my car and they're just like IVs are flowing. But it's
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's an instant absorption, instant results. Like you feel good and then they last. So you'll sleep awesome tonight. I know you guys are going to sleep awesome tonight.
You're gonna sleep
Everybody
like a
tells me
dead
that.
body.
They
I
text the
can't
next
wait.
morning.
Yeah.
Like they slept so good. And then you'll have all these like extra energy. You'll just feel like your cup is full.
Nice. So there's 2 times it's not the same feeling. It's a totally different feeling. But it was as someone's telling me how I'm going to feel.
Yeah.
The first time was my knee surgery. So the anesthesiologist like, yeah, you're going to feel blah, 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 blah. And I'm talking to Aimee as they're wheeling me in. I was like, I can totally walk myself. Oh, no, I can't. So
this
as
was
you were
right
saying,
after he had asked the anesthesiologist for a to-go dose.
yes.
by the way.
Oh, nice.
It was
yeah.
amazing.
To-go doses are okay sometimes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You never know. And fear is also like a proponent of it. Like I just told you what that feeling is.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm hesitant to tell you because, and I didn't tell him. He was just like right in the bowl, like all the way.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, should I be feeling like this?
That does
All
not
right, this
surprise
is a normal
me.
feeling.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you to feel that as soon as you know. So I'm like, usually if you feel any different than what you did before we started, let me know.
Gotcha. Yeah. When you started saying, yeah, you're going to feel some anxiety, whoop, it went right up. It was
I
like,
knew that
that
Head to
switch
toe.
went on.
But I
Yeah.
don't want to like tell you while we're all out here and then I look like,
Whose
Why
idea
did
was
I
this?
not
Whose
tell you?
idea was it?
That'd
Okay.
be Ciji.
yeah, he always jumps on board with my crazy ideas.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like, this is going to be so beneficial. And we don't have a brick and mortar. I think I would have loved to have that for people to come and just like have like a watering hole for
Yeah.
people to come hang out and do all this sort of stuff. But making it convenient for people is what people want, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
how many people were isolated during COVID? And that's what started this whole thing. And it was just like, people want it on the convenience. And so the likelihood of them getting this, so when they're sick, they want to call you and they don't want to leave. They don't want to go to the doctor's office. They don't want to do anything outside of their home. So we come to you. And then people like work in the office. So like, I cannot leave because I work from the office. Okay, we come to you. It's just so beneficial. Moms work at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moms are at home taking care of babies. All right, we come to you. And I do have like a home office. People come over and hang out. We just kind of chat, whether in the couch and we're just hanging out in
Yeah.
the office. So
Yeah.
we have it there too, but
I may have you come to the academy because I'm stuck there all day.
let's do it.
Absolutely.
Great. Yeah, that'd be great. Like
Yeah.
between sessions.
Absolutely.
Do
Yeah.
something like that.
You do.
yeah.
You could roll the cart all the way around. And you could
Can you
do
imagine? On the mat. Don't look at me.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
He's so
You're
envious.
doing it
I'll just carry a stick.
Yeah,
Just
some of
tap
your
it
guys, like I've gone to their houses and their wives and them like, hey, listen, you're going to jujitsu. I know how Chris feels when he goes and does
Yeah.
this. So let me get you taken care of. So
Yeah.
we take care of them and they go and they're like, that was like the best thing ever. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know.
We know.
I feel great. I will not say that I have not ever been sick, but I will say I don't get sick because
Okay.
I do this, like we do this once a month, if not more. Like when we came back from our daughter's volleyball is like all the time, right? And you're around all these kids, hundreds and thousands of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bunch of book
And
readers
we'll
everywhere.
leave, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing. I can't afford to get sick right now. I just can't.
I'm
Yeah,
with
you're
you.
teaching so
I'm
much.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
your livelihood, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing things and you're active. Nobody wants to sit in bed and be sick.
No.
So that's kind of like a big part of it is that our daughter who's now 13 does them. So she's like in club volleyball. She's national. Like she's a stud, dude. I think she's like the best, the coolest kid.
Yeah.
And she'll do them. She'll bust them out just like this. And she's like, I'm ready for nationals.
Yep.
Okay, let's go. So much energy. So her friends will get them if they're sick. Like they're just, it reduces the recovery time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we were talking about. Like, I don't know, it was like last week. We were talking about the misconception of going to the ER, right? Everybody's like, I got to go to the ER because I need to go get fluids. I'm
Yeah.
nauseated. I'm doing all this. Well, we can take care of that.
Probably at a
But
fraction of the
You
cost.
don't get that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Nobody
And
likes
probably,
that surprise bill.
Probably they didn't need to go to the ER.
They don't.
We got a lot of people going to
Yeah.
the ER that don't need to go there.
Absolutely. They just think
Because
that's their
they don't
solution.
have the resources.
Right.
And they
exactly.
don't know.
Exactly.
And there's obviously financial things too. And Warrior takes like different kinds of payments, but yeah, the cost is much different. And we give like promotional deals, like, hey, you're getting one. Maybe when you get back from your vacation, we do another one. We do 50% off.
Oh,
like, we'll
that's
do deals
cool.
like that. Like
Yeah.
if you're buying more than one, like we're gonna hook you guys up.
Yeah.
It's not crazy. So
Well, I think
referrals are the best.
You've just gotten 2 new recurring
Yeah,
clients.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's cool. So, okay. So you came up with this idea.
Yeah.
Like how, okay. I don't know any of this stuff. So like I said, I'm in way over my head here. But how do you get like the materials? How do you I mean, is this stuff that I'm assuming people can just buy this stuff anywhere, right?
You can't just buy it anywhere. It's out of a compounding pharmacy. Our traditional pharmacies, CVS, Walgreens, don't provide that. And there's reasons behind that are bigger than us. But the compounding pharmacies provide this. And so they make these vitamins, they supply them to us. Some of them are preservative free, which I prefer, and some of them are not. So you kind of bounce around to different compounding pharmacies to figure out which one's the best for you, which one offers the most for your patients.
Yeah.
There's a select few I like to go to, and then there might be like one kind of off that nobody really ever knows about or does, because I get different things.
Okay.
So I have like selenium, which is another option, quercetin. The selenium's great. It's a trace mineral that you use. It's great for your thyroid. And then you have quercetin, which is anti-inflammatory, so it'd be great for you, like just to up your dose of antioxidants to help reduce inflammation prior to you traveling. And then when you get back, and it just like kind of helps you in, reduce free radicals. And so some of these other compounding pharmacies that I kind of like found are amazing, and that's how you find them. And then there's supplies. You can kind of get the supplies from any real like medical supply, McKesson or other kind of providers or vendors, but really it's the vitamins that you're looking for. And I like the high quality stuff. It might cost like a little bit more, and it's really like fractional compared. Like I'll give you an example. Like there's B12, right? You get B12. You hear B12s everywhere, right? But there's like 3 to 4 different types. So there's like cyan, there's hydro, there's methyl, and so like calibine, right? They all end in that. So the methyl one is like your highest quality one, but your cyan cobalamin is in every one of your, like, look on the back of this. Do you see taurine? Do you see B12? Do you see, and look at what kind of B12 is on that.
It says like, I can't really see it. It's like a VT B12. I can't really see. It's kind of like towards the bottom, like at the bottom of the.
Yeah, cyanobalamine. Yeah. Right? Poorest quality B12 you can probably get. But that's why I picked the good
Monster, if you want to sponsor the show, I will counter that with the best B12 ever.
I'll bring the research. Okay, and then there's also like taurine probably
but it's
in here.
Delicious B12.
It is delicious.
Oh, there's carnitine in here. We provide carnitine. So I don't know. You guys know what carnitine is?
No, what is that?
So amino acid that actually improves the utilization of your fat metabolism. So those fat cells that it has, it takes the energy away from it. So it helps increase metabolism, but it's also great for the heart. So I always tell guys, like, take L-carnitine. So he's getting it all the time. I up his dose a lot. Because your heart needs like the fatty acids, but the carnitine takes away the oxidative like stressors of those fatty acids that are broken down. So carnitine's really great for it. So you got that too. You got the taurine. So taurine's in here. It's great for See, I don't know about these. So you just got an IV. You don't even need that.
I haven't opened it. I haven't opened it. Yeah.
No, super cool. But taurine's another amino acid that's actually super great for energy, brain health, heart health, and it's all just based. It's like a neurotransmitter, neuroprotective. So all these are super beneficial. And the NAD that you actually got, I read a recent journal on it that was talking about Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and super beneficial for cognition and mental clarity.
Oh, wow.
So I was like,
I'm all about that.
That's I'm all about that.
Oh, yeah.
Family histories and stuff like that are super beneficial. So
I see a lot of patients come through with Parkinson's, and it's just it's heartbreaking.
It's a terrible disease.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
How does that happen, Parkinson's?
Ask the nurse practitioner.
Well, to be honest, I think it's more of like genetics. It can be genetic related.
Okay.
And then I also think that they don't know. Like it's idiopathic. So I think it's an underlying condition that they're like, we don't really know why these things occur. And it has to do, and then there's other, information and kind of like journals and research that talks about like it's autoimmune and inflammation and like along with genetic and the environment that it's placed under. So, I mean, Parkinson's a rough one.
Yeah.
I worked neuro ICU. I specialized in that. And when I first started in ICU, and neuro is a very special place in my heart, for one. But two, the patients that we saw there were stroke patients. We had Alzheimer's patients. We had detox patients that were encephalopathic. We had so many neuro conditions, tumors. And it is really hard and just so fascinating how the brain works, and we still don't even know all of it. Wow. Like we know probably about 10% of how the brain works.
They would come from your neuro ICU to me for rehab.
Yeah. That's so cool.
It is cool.
So cool.
And the cool part about it is to see that they came in and couldn't form words.
Yeah.
And then they stay with us for a couple weeks.
Yep.
I mean, up to 6, sometimes 8. And then they're back to using sentences.
And I envy your job.
So cool.
Because we get the acute phase when they're super scared. You can see it in their eyes if they're conscious. You can see it in their eyes that they're just like, I can't figure this out, and they can't form the words to, you know, when they get downgraded to a different floor or they get discharged to a rehab, and then you're like, I wish they would come back. I wish they would come back.
Do they ever?
See.
Do they ever come back?
One time I had a patient come in, and our like clinical nurse specialist had actually created a whole like meeting. It was like a staff meeting, and we had one patient come back, and it was like we were in tears. Yeah. This was a young woman who was postpartum and had suffered a stroke, massive stroke. Oh, wow. And we were all like, oh my gosh, this is so devastating. I mean, we're dealing with these like heartbreaks every day. Yeah. And then when she came in and she was holding her baby, it was like, that was like the best thing that they could have done. I wish we could see that more. I do too. I had a patient come in, gosh, I think it was like a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, it doesn't matter. We had taken care of her. She was pregnant, and she and her boyfriend were in a horrific car accident. She had to have a craniectomy. She was, like I said, pregnant, tube feeds, in restraints. Like, she was a mess. And I was the one that had to tell dad and boyfriend, like, she might not get any better than this. Nobody else had the nuts to say it. Yeah. I mean, I hope with all of my being that I am absolutely wrong, but she might not get better than this. And this is way better than she was when she came in, right? Yeah. And a year later, she comes back holding her baby in full sentences. Does cool. not. Boyfriend looks great too. Yeah. Like they're still together. The baby is beautiful. She's a year old. Like, we sent her to the acute side of the hospital to have a C-section and be born.
Holy crap.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then here they are a year later, and
oh my gosh,
it was so. And she didn't remember any of us.
Good though,
yeah.
Which was
good
awesome.
Yeah, and we don't remember any of it.
We are sobbing right in front of her, and she looks amazing. And it was. I'm getting teary thinking about it right now. Like, it was so
She's like,
beautiful.
Why are you guys crying? What happened?
Yes. She's like, I'm sorry, I don't remember. I'm like, you just said a sentence. Do you not realize how big a deal that is? Yeah. Like, because she left us not talking, as I recall.
Wow.
So all that therapy, and that's what I'm telling you, like, that brain just works so different, and everybody is so different on that. Yeah. I mean, you go from kids to adults, and I mean senior citizens, 90-some years old. You just don't know how they recover. It's just fascinating.
Yeah, so I have to give you an update. So the anxious feeling is gone completely, and I have this full bore.
Did you stop it at any point and then get back up?
Yeah, so I had Amy pulled it to about there-ish.
Okay.
And then,
because I'm a sissy.
I didn't feel it.
That's how I roll. That's okay.
And then the bubble stopped, so I was like, oh, no, we got to fix that. So then I kept it going, and now I feel like dialed in. Okay. Like, I feel dialed in. This is really cool.
That's what that's that NAD. I'm telling you, when I do the IM injections of it, it within 10 minutes, it hits, and it's like the best.
He's like, I'm ready to go. Are you ready to go?
Yeah. I'm like, let's do this. What are we doing right now?
Yeah.
But like, even tomorrow, you're
like
gonna
that
feel
most of the
amazing.
time.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna be extra.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, tomorrow is gonna be really good.
So you guys do injections as well? Like, if somebody calls you up and says, hey, I just need a quick shot, you go give them a quick shot?
Yep.
So obviously that's like a lot, right? Just to come and give you a shot. So what we do is we sell packages.
Oh, okay.
So then I come in and I teach you how to do it to yourself for the first time, and then we sell it in packages.
Nice.
So the NADs you can give, the B12s,
His wife's
the
a nurse.
glutathione. Yeah, isn't that just amazing? He's so lucky. I know. He needs them too.
Yeah.
So that's super helpful. So and we can sell packages like that too.
Okay.
So it makes it super beneficial. But if we do IV, we're like, hey, do you want to get like maybe you don't want to try the NAD that way, but you want to do the injection? Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and just sell it that way.
Yeah. Now, do you advertise pricing on your website and stuff like that? Is that all listed?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's on the website. So warriorhydration.com, and it does break it down. It does not break down the discounts, but we do give like veterans, firefighters, healthcare workers, and teachers discounts. Okay. And then we break down like referral discounts, and obviously frequent clients of ours get discounts. So.
And on our Instagram page, it posts a lot of the discounts on there.
Yeah. Okay. 4th of July was great. We had a lot of people sign up for the 25% off. I believe I did.
Nice.
Yeah, or buy one, get one for 50% off. Or couples, you know, we did couples things. So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the
cool.
Valentine's Day one was buy one, get one free for couples.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nurses Week, we did like 50% off of all of them for nurses and healthcare workers.
Wow.
Yeah, and we try to make it affordable so everybody, because, you know.
That was it too.
And not to bash on other companies, but, you know, they when you look at their pricing, I mean, it's sometimes can be astronomical.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They come in like, oh, this is like the best thing for you. And you feel like crap, right? You're like vomiting at the trash can that's like not been changed. The trash hasn't been changed in a week because you just got sick the night before. You feel like crap. You don't care how much it costs.
Yeah.
Here's my card.
Yeah.
Do it, right? No, that was kind of another reason why we had opened up.
Yeah.
So to be more affordable to the family.
Yeah.
So if you're sick, guaranteed you're getting sick too.
Yeah.
So let's try to be proactive
Right.
here, right? Again,
Right.
to the preventative health model instead of a sick model, and treat you and preventatively treat you. And almost every single time, the other person's like, I didn't get sick.
Yeah,
think
that's
it's like-
cool.
Do you limit your area to a certain you know,
East Valley.
East Valley?
Yeah. I have another nurse, Carla. She's the bomb. I worked with her in ICU for the same amount of time, like 6-7 years. And so she's one of my infusion nurses that runs out there and all over. So if I'm not available, because I also work primary care. So I work primary care in a wellness clinic. And so if I'm not available, then she's available for me. So she takes care of like the East Valley. I've gone as far as Maricopa. I've gone into Phoenix. We make it work.
Yeah.
We make it work. Gone into Scottsdale again with like the bachelors and golfing parties and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
They're always
can
a
imagine.
thing.
Yeah.
And this heat is crazy. And we're really big on like our taking care of our athletes. I mean, that's kind of where like my big focus is making sure that they're taken care of and can optimize their performance and ability to like perform to their goals. And that's kind of our biggest passion. Especially we have a young daughter who wants to meet her goals too. It's like,
Yeah.
how do we help you?
Yeah.
You know,
That's
This
cool.
heat is crazy. This summer, I mean, kids are dropping like flies. They're just dehydrated. They're calling my kids feeling nauseated, like dizzy, not like lethargic. They're dehydrated. They're suffering from like heat exhaustion.
Well, especially these soccer and football players that are on the field like 113 degrees. I mean, yeah, they're practicing, you know, late afternoon, but I think the hottest part of the day is after what, 5 o'clock? I think it, you know,
Yeah,
gets
it's like 4 or
ridiculous.
5 o'clock
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're out there practicing. And I think that's a great idea to hit them up like before practice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got plenty of time. And then, you know, get them at least hydrated, if not, you know, loaded up with
Yeah.
vitamins and stuff like that.
Yeah, we actually have a deal in the works right now with the East Valley football team to every week before their games, we're going to go out there and do the varsity team.
Oh, great.
So we're
Yeah.
working on
Super
that deal
excited.
right, Neil.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So, what's the best way to get a hold of you? Do you guys have like on your website? Can you just like schedule an appointment? Do people call? How does that work?
So you could go to warriorhydration.com and then you just scroll down to the bottom, like contact us, and you just send us a message with your phone number. Or you just call me 602-513-0699.
Okay.
And you could text me. I mean, I'm your personal nurse practitioner who can provide like the components that you need and give you kind of advice too. I mean, I love hearing from people like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And maybe
That
you
was
have a
gonna be my
sinus
next question.
infection, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the part of the wellness comes in. So we had Warrior Hydration, right? But now we're adding in the wellness side. So as a nurse practitioner, I can provide like prescriptions. So if you have sinusitis and it's a clear indication that you probably have had that for over a week, let's do the IV hydration and I'll probably call you in something. And that's where like the benefit comes in of like calling somebody who knows like what they're doing. And as far as a medical provider who can give you additional services. So you can call or text me and message like your symptoms and we'll go through like the underlying kind of what you're going through and what you're looking for. What are your goals? And then you can email us at warriorhydration@gmail.com. That's a great way to kind of get in contact with us for general questions or setting up, or if you want to do like the team did,
Yep.
kind of emailed and was like, hey, we're really interested in getting our team of 30 guys like hydrated and just
that's great.
feeling like not well, like after they're practicing. How do we get them optimized? Guess what? I can help you with that.
Yeah.
That is super
Yeah.
cool.
So a lot of different ways to contact us. And then we're on Instagram at hold on a second, warrior.hydrationiv.
Okay.
All underscore, right? So you have to like get in that, but
Yep.
Is it warrior dot or warrior underscore?
dot.
Dot. Okay. Warrior dot
Period.
hydration dot IV.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. That's perfect.
No, not dot. So
Wait.
warrior.hydrationiv.
Ah,
Okay.
gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and with that wellness side too, Ciji's gotten really into like helping people with their weight loss stuff too.
Oh, okay.
So she started offering like semaglutide for weight loss. It actually has Tiffany on there as well, helping out, doing
she's doing
like
consultations for all my
and stuff.
nutritional consults. She's phenomenal.
Yeah,
keep
she's
sending
great.
all of my patients there. Yeah, a lot of people are just interested in the weight loss field, so we start offering that too. It's a prescription form of medical weight loss, so it's a great tool. Kind of tells the brain to, we're done eating, we're full. Takes us a little longer to kind of digest the food, so it's really great for kind of retraining the brain when we have this like overeating capacity in our brains, right? We're consumers of food. I mean, every corner is like fast food or some sort of sit-in. It's just all food consumerism. We're directed at food. And that's where we kind of come into play of like, let's change our portions. Let's change how we look at it and make sure we're getting the protein that we need to get in.
Yeah. The funny thing about that is we were on a cruise not too long ago. And the portions on the cruise are pretty small. It's like fine dining kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Portions are quote unquote small.
Yeah.
But that's really all we needed.
Yeah, you
right?
feel good.
That was like a
afterwards.
good portion.
Yeah.
But we're so used to the entire plate being filled from side to side, right? When you see this little portion sitting in the middle with like the little glaze going across it, you're like, okay, this sucks.
Yeah, you're like, $15 for this shit.
Yeah, right. But it was good.
We were able to have an appetizer and then the main course and maybe a small salad.
Yeah.
And
dessert.
And you didn't hate yourself at the end of it.
And we didn't hate ourselves.
Yeah.
That's my new thing.
And
Yeah, you go to a restaurant nowadays and you get this plate. I mean, it's like, it's humongous.
Yeah.
And it's full side to side.
Yeah.
And
end to end. Yeah.
And it's delicious.
It's delicious. Yeah.
So you like can't not
you just
eat
keep
it all.
eating the whole thing. And by the end, you're like, pants come unzipped. You're like, you're going to roll me out of here.
This is a great example of when we went out with Tiffany and Tom, and we went out to this really fun place in downtown Gilbert, and it was like Vietnamese infusion, and they were like, oh, the meals are enough to split. And we're like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
It was once, like, we looked at it, we're like, our daughter could eat that and more. Like, I don't know what that was. But then, when you start thinking about it, you're like, really? We're used to like this general plate full of food that you can take home and split it with everyone. No, it was like literally a bowl like this big.
Yeah, but afterwards, you feel good. You don't,
we were
you don't
like
feel
that.
like
Like,
over
see
full
what we
or
did?
anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's-
back home in Texas, the chicken fried steak is like a big deal.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah. So, you'll talk to your friends about, oh, I ate this chicken fried steak at this one place.
Yeah.
And they'll say, oh, this one place that I went to, you got to fold it over because it goes like beyond
over
the
the
plate.
Oh, my Lanta.
And they fold it back on, and then they put the gravy on top. You're like, oh, that's a spot right there.
Yeah.
But that's what we're used to. That's what we're used to eating. I won, by the way.
You did win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally
first.
said I'm a sissy pants.
Well, I knew. I don't.
Shocker. Alex is competitive.
I don't think.
right.
I don't think she knew she was playing.
Welcome to my life.
But okay, so my IV is done, and I'm telling you, like, I feel like dialed in. Like, I don't feel anxious. I don't feel hyper. I just feel like dialed in. Like I'm in this room, and my brain is nowhere else.
Right.
It's fantastic.
It's amazing, isn't
Yeah.
it? That's that. Yeah. Hyper focus. That's that NAD. That stuff is so amazing for that. And like Ciji was saying, if you do the IM injection before a competition, I mean, you are so dialed in to that.
I'm in, dude.
You're like
wanna
zoned
try
in
that.
right now.
Are you guys going to
try that.
Vegas? Are you guys going to Vegas for Master Worlds by any chance? Could I get this?
Yeah, we'll give it to you for sure.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I am.
The thing is that I would tell you, because you guys trying to hit weight, right?
Yeah.
So
No, I'll be at weight. My weight will be good.
like that you can do a liter. You could do a half liter.
Half a liter would be good. Yeah.
But you'll the fluid part of it, you'll piss out, right?
Yeah.
You'll keep all the vitamins and stuff, but the fluid part, because like before Masters Worlds, of when we did the last one, the Onogi Worlds, Mike, my brother Mike did he did an IV infusion, and he was like 4 pounds underweight already.
Okay.
He did the IV infusion and he went 7 pounds overweight. And he was like, "What the fuck just happened? Like, am I going to get this off?" Then he woke up the next morning, took a giant whiz, and he's like, "Dude, I'm back down to weight.
Wow.
4 pounds under again." So it's just your body is trying to retain all these vitamins and nutrients in the fluid and all that. Then your body gets rid of what it doesn't need, which is mostly the fluid.
And that's because it's so bioavailable that you absorb it, and then you're like, oh, this is like the excess. That the water is
the water
excess.
is the excess, and we just get rid of it.
We're so deficient.
But that NAD, I'm telling you, we'll do it before, because I plan on going to Masters Worlds.
Yeah.
And I'll do it right before, like, the night before or the day of. And just
Are you guys staying at the Westgate? Where are you guys staying?
I haven't signed up yet. I need to sign up.
Yeah, because
He's the last minute guy.
Yeah.
Chris, come on now.
No,
And then we don't know if I go or not, but
Yeah.
he's the last minute guy.
yeah.
And I'll probably just I might honestly just fly in and then
Compete
compete
and
do
fly
the
out,
open
yeah.
and then fly home that same day.
Do you do that too?
No, I don't.
that's
I don't typically do
exhausting.
that. Yeah.
Well, you
Well,
got a
not-
coach too.
Yeah, well,
I don't have a choice, yeah.
He
Yeah.
doesn't. He can't fly in, compete, and go because he's got to wait around for my slow ass. The past 2 years, I've gone on Friday fucking night.
Yeah. You're
Like,
like, what the hell?
At 6 o'clock at night.
And you're waiting to weigh in.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I'm old.
I want to weigh in. I want to fucking eat.
Yeah. What
I
the
want to be in
hell?
my pajamas and relax
Yeah.
for the next morning. Like, what
It's
are we
bedtime.
doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
The fuck?
What time do you have to weigh in?
Right
before-
before
right
you
before.
go.
Oh.
It's-
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Oh,
I mean, it's
shit.
not like wrestling. You get like an hour, a couple hours before. You
So
check.
you weigh in like within an hour you're on?
No.
Well,
Less than that.
ideally,
Minutes. Oh.
Yeah, so it could be 'cause this is it happen it's happen so you weigh in, you get in the bullpen. Okay, no one tells you if your competitor has shown up, weighed in, is in the bullpen. You have no idea, right? You can kind of look at the board and be like,
Wow.
oh, it's still kind of red. It's still red, so he hasn't checked in yet. But I've been in the bullpen for an hour and a half before.
well, remember,
Waiting?
was it last year or
And I've
2
been-
years ago that
and I've-
Tom was in the bullpen for like an hour and a half
Yeah.
between his first match and what ended up being his second match?
Yeah, so my first
And that
guy,
sucks.
my
Yeah.
first guy didn't show, so I was in the bullpen for an hour and a half.
Oh.
Now I've weighed in, gone in the bullpen, like you're up.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
it could go
Game
either way.
on.
Yeah, it could
Wow.
go either way.
That's how it was for me at Masters World. Like
Yeah.
I weighed in, we walked into the bullpen, and there was like, you two, you're up, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Cool.
this is happening. Let's do this.
LFG.
Yeah.
No need to jump up and down
go.
and get pumped up.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I wanted to have like a little
That
snack because I
anxiety
cut
would
a lot
get
of
the
weight.
best of me.
Same, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted
That-
something.
I don't think I could do that.
That ended up being my problem last year. My second match we were talking about when you guys got here.
Yeah.
Like I got in my
You're
head.
a badass. Just-
No.
I don't want to get on there. I was like, I would never think about going to.
But I
could totally do
I
it.
got in
She
my
could.
head.
Nope.
Well, yeah, I got in my head about it because I'm a way better jiu-jitsu player than that second match indicated, and it just sucked because I was a chicken shit.
Too much time.
Yeah,
You were
too
like,
much
It was
time
a
to
lot
think.
of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the hard part was, like, we saw the girl, her second match. We saw her first match. So I already had a game plan in my head.
But he didn't come talk to me.
But the problem is the coaches
blame
are
him.
in this pen, basically.
You guys are on the opposite side.
Well,
Yeah.
not only that, there's only one way in and one way out to the
Right.
coach's area. And if you leave your chair, you may not get it back.
Okay.
So it's literally a line of people lining the mats to coach. So if I were to walk out and go back and coach her up,
Butler.
I may not get back in.
Yep.
So I had to stay. I was dead center of the mat, perfect spot. It just kind of is what it is
Could
at that
you
point.
hear him?
I could. I can always hear him. That's cool.
I was a fucking maniac too.
So
It was bad. This was probably that was probably the worst one.
Yeah, he gets really wound up when I'm competing.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
And
Yeah.
he's coaching me, right?
Yeah.
So and then people last year at Worlds, people were walking in front of him and he's like, you can hear it on the video. It's like, it's not like I'm doing something here or anything. Fucking asshole. Oh my God, it's hilarious.
And they're trying to get to their chairs. Like, I'm just being an idiot. So
Oh,
yeah.
but, yeah.
It was just not good. It wasn't a good look.
That's how I know he loves
That's how
me.
competitors. But that's how coaches should be to
Yeah.
their
Yeah, they're athletes.
Oh
You
my
They're
gotta
God,
athletes,
be-
yeah.
it's
You
hilarious.
gotta be passionate about
though.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I simultaneously love and hate tournaments.
Yeah.
I hate being there. If I could like teleport into the chair, coach, or
And
teleport
like
onto
leave?
the mat and just compete and just disappear,
Yeah.
it'd be so great.
That waiting all day and like coaching all day, it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
is.
You know,
Yeah.
because Mike and I, we coached actually a junior high wrestling team.
Yeah.
When we got done at ASU, and being at the tournaments, especially like the East Valley, the regional tournaments and stuff, you're there all day with
day.
these kids,
Yeah.
and you're bouncing from mat to mat to mat to mat, and it's like you get done at that day, and you're just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I need a drink or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so
I
exhausted
need
right
a
now.
drink and a hamburger stat.
Exactly.
Try coaching kids all morning and then competing that afternoon.
Oh my God.
Also
Dude.
coaching and also coaching adults
Yeah.
while you're trying to get ready to
Yeah.
compete.
So
See,
you,
and that's yeah.
That guy.
so you, I
Oh,
just throw a
that's
hoodie
where it's
on.
like-
Yep.
Yeah. I just throw a hoodie on over my gi and then I just stay warm by coaching, and then hey, you're up, cool. I just jump on the mat, and
That's tough.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's why Master
Do your
Worlds.
thing.
I'll coach you, but like an hour before my match,
See,
I'm gonna
You're on
disappear.
your own.
but you got to do it.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
There's a point where you got to be selfish a little bit in
Yeah.
that regard.
That's the only tournament that I care about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about any, like, if I don't have any time to get in my own head before a local, cool, no big deal. I
Yeah.
mean, it is what it is. But Master Worlds, I kind of take that one seriously.
For sure.
That's my
That's the Super Bowl.
jiu-jitsu Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call it Jiu-Jitsu Christmas.
When is that?
End of
Sep-
August.
end of August.
Early
End of August.
September.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
The shitty part about that one is it bounces around. Sometimes it's like October, sometimes it's November. This time it's August. So
Well,
you
I mean,
can't have your
It's about the same time this year as it was last
Yeah.
year, but 2 years ago it was in November. But I
Yeah.
think COVID probably fucked that
Yeah,
all
yeah,
up.
yeah, it
Because
did.
COVID
Yeah.
fucked up everything.
yeah.
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 Except for you guys with Warrior Hydration.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah, it kind of helped it.
Yeah.
to be
Did
honest.
help.
I
Yeah.
don't know, man. People need it. That's what I hope that people understand. Is like they don't have to go to the ER. Let's be preventative and try to be proactive and not getting sick.
I
You know,
love
let's
that
be
so much.
proactive. Like take all your vitamins. I love sitting down with people like this. You're about 40 minutes during a whole infusion, and I just sit there and talk to you about, are you taking enough vitamin D? Everybody in Arizona is vitamin deficient, right?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
that's super beneficial, and we found that out in COVID. Super beneficial for the immune system. And
Yeah.
you should be taking that 5,000 IUs. Everybody's like, I took my vitamin D. How much is it? Oh, it's in my multivitamin. Not enough.
Not enough.
1,000.
Yeah, crank it up.
Not enough. 5,000, great. But do you take it with a K2 because you should be putting the calcium in your bones, right?
Yep.
Because as we get older, we don't want to lose bone density. No, I didn't know about that. Great, let's do that. Do you take boron because it's great trace mineral? That's all of them work together in a triangle. Not only is that, but it helps with testosterone. Yep. Like I'm finding all these things out, and being within the athlete and males are like younger ages are so deficient in testosterone. It is astonishing to me, like how young people are in their 30s and low testosterone.
Yeah.
And I think it's food, but that just could be me, but I think it's food.
I think you're right.
I think you're
I think
you're
it's
on
food.
something
It
with
was
that.
not nutritional. We're not, it's preservatives, we're chemicals, it's processed, like so much food, like what we talk about, food consumerism. So I think that's a big part of it. And so I try to find things that are really natural that can be like, hey, boost your testosterone this way before you have to get on like TRT or something like that. Because once you're on it for a lifelong period.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely necessary. The risks that you run of having low testosterone outweigh the risks of being on TRT itself, because you increase your risk of cardiovascular event, you have high cholesterol, like you have so many more. Your quality of life plummets if you have low testosterone.
Well, I mean, I think that's just hormone in general, right?
Yeah.
If the
Yeah.
hormones aren't
Absolutely.
Yeah, your hormones are messed up.
Thyroid, yeah.
Yeah.
So reproductive hormones, all of the above.
right. Yeah, I had Dr. Neil Morris on the show
Mm-hmm.
early on, probably episode 7. He was
Yeah,
early on.
early on.
And sorry, Neil. I was trying to figure shit out, bro. We'll get you back on. But yeah, he was telling me, people come to him for like pain issues. They come to him for PRP. He does a lot of needle therapy. So
Yep.
I love
stem
that.
cells, stuff like that.
Yeah.
PRP is
It's the
amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Amaze balls.
but he starts with your hormones. He checks your hormones because he literally says if your hormones aren't right, you're almost blowing your money.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because you can't heal
Yep.
if your hormones aren't right. So that kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things. And man, there's jiu-jitsu people that are, at the highest level that are on a lot of steroids and a lot of, TRT, stuff like that. And, they get a lot of grief. I guess it's earned. I don't know. I mean, if you're 25 years old and you're on TRT, okay. I mean,
But
Yeah.
I see it.
yeah.
But I see it. Head concussions can cause it.
Yes.
TBIs cause it.
Yeah.
Like pituitary injuries, they cause
Yeah.
abnormal testosterone production. I mean, it really does happen.
Yeah. And there was a kid that was talking about these guys on steroids. And I won't say his name because I might be getting the wrong person, but I read a lot of stuff. But he said, he is not going to take the TRT, even though his levels are low. I think he might be 20, the
Holy
kid talking
crap.
about this.
Wow.
He's looking at TRT. He's 20 years old. And he won't do it,
Yeah.
right? Because he thinks he's too young. But
Do you
now,
think that there's a stereotype to it, or like is that what the perception is?
no, I think these guys just don't want to be remembered like the 90s baseball era. You know, the era of steroids. I think there's people out there that just don't want to be known for that. They'd rather have these guys, okay, get your accolades, get all your shit, but you're going to be known for the testosterone. And that's just my opinion. I don't know for a fact, but these kids are, the fact that they're getting their levels checked is great. The fact that they're finding out that their levels are low, okay, we got to start looking at some stuff.
Yeah, like because, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, what's going on beyond this? I mean, testosterone is a finite resource.
Yep.
These kids are training their asses off all day, every day. You know, when we talk about doing tournaments, we talk about get 20 to 25 competition rounds per week, right? These guys are getting 18 a day.
Holy shit.
Okay?
Yeah.
Testosterone is a finite resource, right? We burn it up. They're training their asses off 3 sessions per day.
Yeah.
What are they not doing outside of training? They're not hydrating. They're probably not eating right. As a kid, you're definitely not eating right.
Guaranteed.
Right?
Yeah.
But you don't have that person in your life to go, hey, bro, like if you're going to do this for a living, like you could literally be a millionaire if you take care of your body.
Yeah.
And you're killing your body right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
But
we got to
another
do something to turn that
another
around.
level of that is a 20-year-old, early 20-year-old is not going to listen to some old fuck like us.
No, they don't give a shit.
Because we've lived through it,
most
we've
of them won't.
experienced it.
It's the I know.
The I
it's
know.
the I know.
Yeah.
Back to that.
Back to the I know.
Yeah. But they've got to have that person in their life.
It's invincible. I mean,
Yeah.
I was 20, I was invincible too, and I didn't listen to anything in it.
Well, you could get away
now
with.
I'm like, oh, I remember when
you could
so-and-so
go to
said that.
You could go to like a hard training session, and then it's like I'm gonna go to Jack in the Box. I'm gonna get the number 5. And I'm gonna get some tacos, and then I'm gonna go drink all night, and I'm gonna go train again tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I still stay in great shape.
Yeah.
But it's only because you're young and your body can acclimate to that when you're young. But as you get older, your body's gonna take a toll with that shit.
Jack in the Box, no.
Oh yeah. If I eat Jack in the Box right now,
Any drive-through is a no.
yeah.
Can I argue
Except
salad and go?
Salad and go. Look at that, on point.
That is like the best thing
I can,
ever.
but it's huge. I can split that thing in half.
Yeah. So
Oh no, I destroyed that shit. And it's the best deal in town.
It really is.
yeah. So we do a new student orientation once or twice a month, every 3 weeks. So in that new student, go ahead.
I'm going to take our IV out.
So in the new student orientation, we talk about nutrition a lot.
Yeah.
It's probably the biggest thing I talk about.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Huge, especially like they're going to be expending energy in such a way that they never have in their lives. I don't care if you run. I don't care if you CrossFit. I don't care if you do anything. And I'm not saying...
This is a whole different thing.
It's a different thing because in wrestling and jiu-jitsu alike, it's literally a chess match, right?
Yes.
So it's mentally exhausting as well as physically exhausting. There's a big difference.
Big difference.
Right?
Yep.
So when we talk about nutrition, you know, I use myself as an example of what not to do a lot because I do a lot of stuff for convenience. You know, when I'm dialed in, I'm eating well and but usually there's a tournament at the end of the rainbow, right? When I'm not dialed in and I just got to eat something, I'll tell them like, hey, you're looking at a guy that's been to Chick-fil-A 3 times in one day.
Yeah. Like,
okay. We all make mistakes.
Absolutely.
Right? We stumble, right? But it's not about living in that day. It doesn't define you.
no.
Wake up the next morning, start again, get back on track.
Yep.
Right. But I have done that.
That's a lot.
I
in
have
one day.
done Chick-fil-A 3 times in
Because
one day.
was it all Uber Eats or did you drive there
No,
3
bro,
times?
I drove.
Was it good
I
sandwiches?
drove. Yeah. Well, no.
Let's
I'm
talk
not,
about what you're eating
I'm
there,
not an
bro.
animal.
We were
Yeah.
like,
Yes, he actually is.
No, the morning one was those little biscuit things, and I get
the chicken?
Yes.
And he loves the breakfast hash browns there.
I got
those
the 2
little
hash
hash-
browns.
He
I
gets
get
2
every time. Yes, and they gotta have ketchup, obviously. But
I'll eat the hell out of those little hash brown things, little
Bro.
hash
Yeah,
brown
they're
rings.
delicious.
Oh
yes,
my God.
they go first.
Yeah.
They go first. Yeah, but yeah, I've done that. I've done, I'm not proud of it.
It kind of seems like you are a little.
No,
I know.
no,
I've
no.
heard Chick-fil-A like 4 times.
Yeah, but no, but I use,
Sponsor.
like I said, Chick-fil-A, if you want to sponsor the show, I will eat that shit on the show with my diet coach sitting across from me. But
Did you hear that?
yeah, but yeah, I'm not proud of it. But I use that as an example of like, yeah, we're gonna stumble because we do a 6-week program for our new students, and you know, a big part of it.
We should totally get you into that.
Yes, yeah,
6 weeks.
Yeah.
yeah.
6-week
You should
program.
totally do it.
I'll do it. I can do anything for 6 weeks.
Yeah, there you
Come train
go.
with
There you go.
Yes.
I don't know. You kick my ass, like, and I'm
won't kill you
claustrophobic,
the
and I don't
first
like
day.
being touched. Like, and not that way. I just he's traumatized me enough. He'll be like,
Girl.
"You want to practice something?" I'm like, "No." And then he's like, "Well, just come here." And then my arms like in weird contortions, and I'm like,
yes.
"Listen, you pissed me off. Now I'm done."
Have you not heard how I got into jiu-jitsu? He choked me with my own bed sheets, for fuck's sake.
I did.
And that's after a year.
You don't have to talk about what happens behind.
Listen.
closed
No,
doors, but-
he was like, I've told this story on this podcast
was
a
one
number of
time.
times. It
was one time.
It's bad.
all it
After a
takes.
year of pestering me to come train. And he learned the baseball bat choke, and then I got baseball bat choked with my own bed sheets because I didn't have a gi on at the time. And I was like, fine. And I'm punching him and slapping him and kicking him to get him the fuck off of me.
She didn't tap.
And then
But
lights
I
out.
didn't tap.
That's not.
No, I thus far, I
remember
have
when you
not
tapped me in the
yet
chokehold?
been put out.
He probably doesn't remember it.
But you do.
That's how well it works.
Well, I had her and
I'm
Maddie
like this,
rear
like
naked
this,
choke
and he's
me.
like, he just all of a
Yeah.
sudden he's out. I was like carrying
Yeah.
him to the ground.
It's lights out,
Like
man.
this?
It is.
Yeah, well done.
Good
He
job
wakes up,
carrying him
he's
to the
like
ground.
this?
'cause
Yeah,
it's
instead
ugly.
of being like just head injury.
It's a nurse thing. It's a nurse thing. Oh,
Yeah.
let's you're
Okay.
falling.
Yeah.
All right, let's not hit your head.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, anyway, we're
Sorry, I totally.
How you got into jiu-jitsu? The
Jiu-jitsu,
6
yeah,
week
yeah.
program.
Yeah.
He was talking about the six weeks
Yeah.
program, and I want you to do it. So
I want her to do it too.
Yeah, so it's a big, it's jiu-jitsu.
So what is it?
It's jiu-jitsu, obviously, right? But it's our fundamentals program. We don't really spar in our fundamentals program. We go live, but it's like the move I'm teaching versus the counter that I'm
It's a
teaching.
safe
so it's
space.
very controlled. Well, when we started, it was like, here's your loaner gi, here's your belt, there's the mat, good luck.
that's how it
have
was
fun.
when I started too.
Yeah. So you're literally filling out the waiver and you kind of peek over your shoulder and everybody on the mat's looking at you like, oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. I just got here, man. Like,
Can't wait to fuck this guy up.
You're not making it sound.
No,
very-
that's how it used to be.
That's how it used to be.
Oh,
Now-
okay.
Now
don't
it's
do that.
it's way more
It's
controlled.
a kinder, gentler jujitsu.
No, it's not. It's better
Receiving.
run. It's better run. So yeah, so
yes.
it's a lot of technique, but it's really like technique, accountability, diet, stuff like that, which most of it you already have dialed in. So we'll just like focus more on technique. But I get people just fresh off the couch. One of her best friends started training with us a little over a year ago. Shout out to Jason Ellis.
Jason is awesome.
Yeah, I like Jason.
He's lost like 60 pounds.
Yeah,
He's an
Hell
awesome
yeah.
dude.
he
Yeah.
is. He's really awesome.
I love that.
When he first showed
Is that
up,
just from this
Yeah.
whole
Just
from
fundamental?
jiu-jitsu.
Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
just from
Hell
fundamental
yeah.
jiu-jitsu. So when he first showed up, I would try to show a move on him, and he would just fall over,
Yeah.
like because he like that wasn't his thing.
Yep.
And he'd fall over and laugh, and I'm like, all right, get back up here.
Pick you
but
back
but now he's going to open mats. He's going to all the mixed
I'll be
levels
honest. Like, I'll
classes.
just start fighting.
There you go.
That's just
That's
what
cool.
it is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I just start to get upset.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
what white belts do.
Yeah.
Come
They
at
just
me,
get all
bro.
crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Now you
Monday.
just pissed me. Elbow. He comes home every time he goes. Every time he's like, bruise here, a scuffed face, like chin.
I've had a
chin
couple
rasp.
black
I'm
eyes.
I got straight ankle
I
lock pretty
would
hard
be
the other day
pissed.
too. Oh yeah, yeah.
No footsies.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he was limping the other day.
I was.
Hey,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we rehab.
Felt the
We're good.
tibialis go pop up, and I was like, oh, it's
Good foot or bad foot?
bad foot,
Bad.
Oh dear.
Achilles
Dude.
foot.
That
No,
same one.
you got to tap earlier in that, homie.
Well,
He did-
it was a total accident.
Oh, okay.
Me and the guy, because it was during comp class.
Yeah.
And we slipped because it was all sweaty.
Yeah,
And it
gross.
got locked in, and I was wearing gi pants because I didn't know if it was gi or no gi.
Right, yeah.
And it got locked in so fast when I fell, I couldn't even tap, and I was like tap tap tap. Thank God he let go because I would been in surgery.
Yeah.
It was tight.
Yeah. No, whenever I train against Chris or Mike, I get anxiety. The same feeling as at the beginning of the bag. That's the feeling I get. Like, this is going to be a long round. Every single time.
Which is precisely why I haven't come to your wrestling class because
Gotta
I'm
come to it.
afraid. I am deathly
Dude,
afraid.
It's a great class.
Plug the wrestling class. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so when we first started out, I wanted to get a foundation for everybody to get a foundation of wrestling, so everybody understands like stance, positioning, movement, basic takedowns, all that kind of stuff. So we kind of have some regular people that come now.
Yeah.
And now that we have the regular base of people, and we're always welcoming people,
Of course.
now that we have our regular base of people, now we've ramped up the intensity incredibly. Like this last Saturday, we did an intensive wrestling class. And it is 1 hour straight of we just go, 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 go. And I don't let you have water breaks during those intensive classes. If you want to get water, you can get it yourself, kind of thing. There's no breaks. We just go. And then it's just kind of like I do these live rounds. So we keep one person in the middle and we do 2 minutes on that person stays in the middle for 2 minutes. Every 30 seconds, you get a new fresh opponent. Cool. And so you play defense the whole entire time for that 2 minutes. Right. And then we do that through a group of 3. You go through that. And then we do another exercise, and then we go back through that, and then you're on offense. You're trying to take a shot, and you're trying to take a fresh guy down every 30 seconds for 2 minutes.
Nice.
So it just annihilates people.
Yeah.
You get that wrestling conditioning that a lot of people don't have, that wrestling conditioning, that go, go, go. But then like this coming Saturday, I call it a punishment class. And I want to teach people how to punish people that when they take a shot on you, you want to make them never want to take a shot on you again.
Yes.
Or if they actually get to take you down, if you take somebody down, you want to make sure that you punish them, right? So they don't want to come back up. They don't want to get in your face again. So I have this punishment class that I like doing. So
that's cool.
It's just, and it's not this crazy wrestling environment where everybody's all scary and we're doing these crazy throws and big takedowns and stuff.
Yeah.
We try and keep everybody safe. All the takedowns. And I tell people all the time now, like, I'm 40 years old. My knees are not the best. So I don't hit my knee when I do a takedown anymore if I'm doing it for like competition.
Yeah.
Unless I have to. Right. So I teach regular takedowns like I learned when I was younger, but I also teach like the old guy takedown, which is really effective. Yeah. And then, like I said, the conditioning is unbelievable that you're going to get from this.
Yeah, I think the conditioning is like super important, but one thing that I want to point out that you do really well is you're teaching wrestling for jiu-jitsu. Yes. Like you're incorporating a lot of the stuff that we need, right, in jiu-jitsu. And if you're going to compete, if someone is going to compete at any level in nogi, you got to have a wrestling. You got to have wrestling.
You 100% do.
Because what happens, especially in the Masters divisions, the way I get beat a lot. But the way I got beat last time at Nogi Worlds is I pulled guard, okay, and all the guy did was score 2 points.
Yeah,
that's all he did.
Because he got the takedown, right?
Yep. So he got the takedown early. It was a beautiful foot sweep. I was like a giraffe, like a newborn giraffe out there. I just fell on my ass. Yeah, I just fell on my ass. And then I scrambled up, right, because I didn't want him to do anything past the guard. So I scrambled up, and then we interlocked fingers, and I sat. Yeah. So all he did was like half-ass guard pass, step back. Yeah. And then I had to scoot towards him, half-ass guard pass, sit back, and that was the rest of the match.
Yeah, and you're like you get frustrated because you're like, Let's freaking roll.
Come on. Yeah. So I was hoping for, get a sub late, but it was too late then. Yeah. And then when I try to wrestle up, I'm wrestling up on a fresh guy. Right. Right. Because he's just done nothing for 4.5 minutes. Absolutely. Right. So it was pretty frustrating. Had I had, your class, a little bit more conditioning, a little bit more wrestling, I could have probably tied him and then turned it into a real match.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in my class, I think the basis, and I do this every class, I try and teach people, my biggest thing is I want to be on somebody's head because I want to beat the crap out of somebody's head because it's tiring to the person when your head's being pushed down into the ground the whole time. Yeah. And people try and your head's getting pushed down. What do you want to do? You want to run away, right? So I'll just follow you. I used to do this in high school and college. You just follow them around with their head down like a puppy or like a little kid, you just push them around and then you let them up and then you can take them down and then you do the same thing, put their head into the ground and they keep doing that. But if you stay on that head, it tires them out. That wears them down. Even from the bottom, I'll pull on your head and just tires your neck out and just makes people exhausted.
And that's actually where my fear comes from is all that head stuff because I got my head landed on last year. Uh-huh. And I've got some neck shit. Oh shit! Since then, and so I'm like,
I don't want to have to do that again.
Yeah, I don't want to have to do that again.
Yeah. Like, but those injuries come from lack of conditioning. When somebody's pulling on your head a lot, you start getting conditioned. Like that's what
pisses me off when he plays like games like that. And he don't play games. I think they're the games, but that's when he's like, "You want to play?" No.
Hard
Because we used
pass.
to have wrestling mats. We used to have wrestling mats, and he would just sit there and be like, "Hey, practice with me like this." And Maddie was like, probably like 9 or 10. She was getting into it. She
Yeah.
did jujitsu for a little
She
bit.
did. At Paul's.
Paul's house.
Yeah, I remember.
Or
Yeah.
Paul's place, and
She was good, dude.
She was.
Yeah, she was
She's
good.
talking
I know.
about
She's
wrestling.
Broke my heart that she got out of it.
Yeah, it happens.
She is talking about
Maybe
wrestling.
she'll come
She
back.
is.
We'll see.
I keep
Ooh,
telling
wrestling.
her.
She still loves volleyball, though. I don't know.
Well, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But like once she's through with high school and college, there's not a lot of competitive volleyball out
That's
there.
what we
is
tell
there?
her,
As,
no.
as an adult.
No, there's not.
And
I mean,
she's the product of you two.
she ain't gonna be 6 foot. I tell you
So,
right now.
well, but here's the
She
thing.
thinks she
She's
is.
hoping I'll be 6'1".
But
Oh, you're not.
both pretty competitive motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's going to have an outlet for that.
Absolutely.
And jiu-jitsu will be ready for her.
She did pretty good.
Yeah.
Before.
That's what I hope she does want to. She's serious about getting into wrestling because girls wrestling is a huge thing right now.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
yeah.
and
It is.
if you're even a halfway decent high school athlete, you're gonna get a full ride scholarship. You know?
Yes, because it is like it's fairly new.
Yep.
And we actually met some of the girls that were pioneers
Yes.
in the local wrestling high school
Yes.
wrestling scene, right?
Oh my gosh.
And that's like
amazing.
it seems
One
like
of them trained with us at
Yeah.
Nava's, remember?
it seems like a million years ago.
It was.
but it's
Not.
5 years ago, something like that.
5 years
She's like,
ago.
yeah, they started a women's wrestling team at high school, and I'm like, awesome.
That's
She goes,
amazing.
yeah, and we're gonna go to state. We're gonna do this, but it's so early in it. I think if you were to measure like where volleyball lands, it's probably 3rd or 4th hardest to get a scholarship for.
Oh yeah.
Volleyball?
Golf is number 1. Soccer and golf are like 1 and 1A.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then it goes like maybe softball, and I think volleyball's up there, the
Probably.
hardest.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Right?
It's the fastest growing sport in the last 5 years for females.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see
Crazy.
it every day. I'm like I said, high school. I wish I would have known about volleyball. I love the sport now. I never knew a damn thing about it.
Volleyball's
So
awesome.
Maddie got into it, and I was
I
like,
got to play when I was little, but I didn't stick with
no,
it.
I got this teach. She's like up there smashing those guys.
Awesome.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's amazing to watch. I just love it. My heart just woman crush right there. It's
Yeah.
just like so cool to watch. But yeah, it is super hard. Like there's so much competition out there, and I'm sorry, but she's not going to be gifted with the vertical of height.
Yeah.
But damn, that girl can jump with
That's
better
where-
than a 6 foot.
yeah,
and
so-
I won't
That's
lie.
neat.
Yeah, so that's where the great equalizer is, right? If
Yeah.
you've got a vertical, if you
Yep.
can jump, then you're good.
Yeah.
And that's where she gets that from me.
Yeah.
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 Before
And the
my Achilles injury.
she's got the height from him. She's got the competitive, like, I will beat you. I don't care if you're 6'1".
Were you one of those that could jump out of the gym?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I could.
B4.
Yeah, I could jump really, really high
Yeah.
before
Before.
my
Kidding.
before my Achilles injury.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And
Yeah.
when was the Achilles injury again?
2000
A year and a half ago.
Yeah.
was it 22 21
21, I think
June
it
of
was.
First
21.
surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had
'Cause
just,
I had
op-
just started
we just
with
started
you
with
guys.
us.
I was like 2 weeks in, and
Yeah,
then it was
that
like
sucked.
boom.
And he comes
Damn
in with his little scooter. I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I fucking hate
what the hell's
that
going
thing.
on there?
What the fuck is this?
Fucking hate that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and all he talked about was getting back on the mat.
I
Yep.
know.
That's all he talked
At
about.
home all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll try. It's all he kept asking. Like, what else can I take? What else can I do? What else
Yeah.
can I take? I will try to do everything. And then we had a re-rupture.
Yeah, the re-rupture was
And
shit.
then it was
Shut
like,
up.
oh,
Yeah. So the 1st
we're going
doctor,
to somebody else.
Yeah.
The first doctor was a
Veterinarian.
Podiatrist.
yeah. That's what I could have gone my
Pretty
orthodontist and
much.
probably got a better job done.
Oh,
Pretty
my
much.
Yeah, he was a podiatrist.
Little bit of
and
disappointment there.
He used the wrong sutures. So you're supposed to use Kevlar sutures. He used dissolvable sutures. So like
Within a week, it had already detached. And I told him there's something wrong.
and
There's
I
just
didn't
like
feel
something wrong. It still looks like it's detached. There's a gap in there. But we kept pushing for like a month, and I was like, we need to have imaging done. And they repeated the MRI, and that's when I was like, yep, re-rupture.
Yeah.
So
Son
we're
of
looking for a different one. So we went to a different surgeon.
Yep.
Dr. Lake, I love him.
He's awesome.
Great, Ortho Arizona, but redid it and like was like, I'll have you back on in 6 months.
But then we went down to, so when we found out that I had re-ruptured, we're like, we already got this trip to Mexico planned. I'm not going to
yeah.
wear my boot. I walked like with just a leg just dragging
He's
everywhere.
limping.
I'm coming up the beach, and people are like, did you get stung by a stingray? I'm like, no, I just don't have an Achilles.
Totally. Just
You
a
had a
re-rupture.
club foot.
Yeah.
Oh
but then,
my gosh.
so the second surgery was because it had re-ruptured and degraded really bad. It was a lot more invasive surgery. So
Yeah.
Dr. Lake had to cut a portion of my left calf out to pull my Achilles down, and then reattach the Achilles. But then it was degraded at the heel, so he had to cut the Achilles off at the heel, attach it with screws into my heel, And then to reinforce it, he drilled a hole through my heel, pulled out my big toe tendon, cut it off, attached that into my heel, and then tied that to my Achilles. So I can't bend my big toe on my left foot.
Holy crap.
But
Yeah.
your Achilles is like a freaking hose.
Oh, so normal Achilles, it's like that wide.
Yeah.
This one is like
Yes.
it's enormous.
Yes.
That's why my left leg looks all
He's
goofy.
like, that will
you got
never
that-
rupture again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Okay. But he can't pick up his trousers and like
Yeah, I
toss
can't pick up
them
my
in.
underwear with my left foot. But
Oh my God, that's funny.
But you can probably take a hell of a shot not being able to bend that big toe. It probably launches you across the room.
Oh.
well, that's the weird thing because I can't bend it. It has there's no strength to it.
Yeah.
So-
you can't like push off.
Yeah, so I can't push off of it. So I kind of had to change my positioning a little
Yeah.
bit when I shoot because I used to normally shoot off that big toe a lot,
Yeah.
and now I have to really readjust to get my shot. So my shot slowed down a little bit. It still works, but it's not what it used to be.
Yeah. What do you think is like the biggest factor in a failed shot? Aside from the setup.
Aside from the setup,
Yeah.
it would the setup's like obviously the biggest thing.
But what is it mechanically that people aren't doing that they're failing with their shot?
It's probably the level, like they're lowering their level. If you're too high, you're going to shoot right into somebody's arms. And a lot of time that's what people do is when they take a shot, they don't realize that you actually have to drop your level, and it's not bending at the waist. You actually got to squat down. That's why we do a ton of legs at wrestling practice because I'm like, your guys' legs are weak.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do. We have to condition those legs. You stay in your position,
Yeah.
and you're able to drop low and push off from that low position all the time.
Are you trying to get below the hands then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because your line of defense as wrestling goes, you have your hands, and then you have your head, and then you have your sprawl.
Gotcha.
Right? So your head is like kind of your last line before your hips, which is your sprawl. But your hands are out there. So if you don't move my hands, you don't get below my hands, I can just stuff you to the ground.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really a level change thing and misdirection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. I don't know where I came up with that question, but that was like
That's a good
popped
question.
in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Do you
hard.
go to his wrestling class?
I have not been. So my
Why?
excuse,
We're both slackers in that
no,
regard.
my excuse is like, okay, so
I'm chicken.
I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
just
not.
flat out.
I'm not chicken.
Okay.
But
No, he's
like
not. I am.
Saturday's my only day off.
Yeah.
It's my only day off. But
Fair.
and then
Work-life balance.
Yeah.
man.
Well, last week we had an event going on. What did we have last week? We had something going. Oh, we went to your cabin, your parents' cabin for 4th of July. It's kind of a thing.
That's cool.
With the
That's
family.
But everything was on the 1st of July.
Yeah.
So we were able to go up there
It's a
Friday
Saturday.
night. Yeah. So it was
Yeah.
Saturday. All the small town
Yeah.
4th
Yeah.
of July
the
stuff. which was
parade and all that.
super cheesy, and it's so much fun. I love it. And we hadn't been able to go for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then the fireworks, and we just came home on Sunday when everybody else was coming home on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
And then this week we had Jenny's party that we had committed to.
Super fun.
Yeah. And then next week is the grand opening for
Fellowship Jiu-Jitsu.
Fellowship Jiu-Jitsu in Pine Top.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to that.
Oh, there's David and
Shanna.
Yeah, David and
Yeah.
Shanna. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
opening
And-
their new spot.
Until right now, they didn't know we were coming.
Oh, great.
So
Oh, this
waiter-
won't drop till
oh.
Wednesday.
Oh, so
Yeah.
the
But
after?
they don't
Oh, no,
listen
I-
to the show.
Of course they listened to the show.
Listen, I got
Anyway,
12
I
people
wanted
that
to
listen to the show.
surprise Shanna. Anyway, that's a way to fuck that up. I wanted to surprise Shanna.
Surprise, they're coming.
Surprise Shanna, we're gonna be at your grand opening. I'm super excited.
That's super cool.
Well, hopefully they won't listen to
Did
this
they
show.
practice in your gym?
What's that?
Did they practice with you guys in
No,
your gym?
we were
trained
teammates
with
over
them
at
at
Novice.
Novice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Paul's
that's
place,
super
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
we
guys
were
all go way back. It's super cool.
We had a
Yeah, it's
monster
fun.
team there
Yeah.
at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
We had a monster team at Novice. We probably had arguably the best women's team in the state at one point. And that was like, gosh, I can't remember what year that was. But man, we had Nana was the head coach. And man, you guys did a tremendous job. You were probably blue belt, maybe white belt.
I
and she
was white belt into blue belt.
Yeah. Yeah. And our
Fat.
yeah. But our men's team, we would
Stop.
go to
I was
Vegas.
200 pounds at that point.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you look phenomenal.
Thanks.
I
Well,
told
I
you
fight
that.
at 150 now, so that's
Fucking
cool.
badass.
Yeah. Yeah. And in our men's team, we'd go to the Vegas Open twice a year and win. Like,
That's super
that's
cool.
yeah.
huge.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, just,
Super cool.
yeah. And then we'd go to San Jose, take 25 people with us. And, you know, we never won that one because
I never got to go to
Coyoteras-
San Jose because
Why?
my
Coyote had a
husband
big
hates
team.
me.
Huh?
Why?
Why what?
You don't win.
There's a school out there. There's Coyote is a he's a legend in
Okay.
the sport, and he has a big school, and they're really good. And yeah, that was like we would come in second to them.
So that's who you're going for.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a lot of respect for those guys. Great school.
Yeah.
I mean, they just brought it, man. It was tough.
That's cool.
It was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so let everybody know how they can get a hold of you. How do they get in touch with you? I know we said it during the show, but I like to kind of consolidate at the end, and then let's talk about, you know, if you guys want to bring up pricing, cool, but that's totally up to you.
Yeah.
All right. So you can call us or text. You can call. It's actually my personal number, so I'm going to give it to you. It's 602-513-0699. And then you can look at our website, www.warriorhydration.com, or Instagram at warrior.hydrationiv. And yeah, the pricing just varies. Like I have two options, and this is where it's going to vary between different companies, right? So I'll give you like 5 to 6 IVs, and you're getting like anywhere from $200 to $220 an IV.
Okay.
Or you can get all of it, including medications, because we take care of like hangovers too, right? So you have Zofran, Pepcid. If you have allergies, we get muscle aches. Yeah, post competition. So and that one's $250. And like we said, we have discounts and everything that we give.
That sounds really freaking reasonable.
And it's super reasonable. The
Yeah.
competitors
Holy shit,
are, and like Chris had
Compare us to
mentioned,
somebody else.
competitors of comparisons are anywhere from $400 to $500. And that's where we're like, can we do 2? And then we can give a discount to 2, more than 1 in a setting. And when you have group atmospheres, like we've had 10 at a time, and we're like, okay, you know what? We're going to do a whole big discount because it's saving me time to come see you.
Yeah.
But then I want to, all of you are doing this great thing for me, and then you guys are getting the benefits of it. So
Very cool. Very cool.
Yep, those are the ways to contact.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Toradol what I got when I passed my stone?
yes.
That
yeah,
stuff is awesome.
probably.
Yeah.
That's what I would have given.
That's when I learned
Lots of fluids.
that well, he got a liter of fluid, and they also gave him Toradol, and
Yeah.
the doc had told us at that point that they hadn't known initially, but Toradol also dilates the ureters.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Let the stone pass.
so let the stone pass. Yeah, he went from being green
Yeah.
with pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was he's not a panicker, but he was panicked.
I was in a panic.
Yeah.
He was totally panicking.
Dude, it's
And-
like, I don't know what it is, but we see you in the ER. I did a year in ER, and it was like, you see you in the ER, and it was like, you're bent over. That's a stone.
Yeah, that's
a
exactly
stone.
right.
That's like, Ivy, let's go. Let's get
Yeah.
it going. You
So
just
we-
know like how to treat. You guys just like sweating. I mean, it's
Oh my
super
God.
painful
I thought I
for
was
you guys.
dying.
Yeah.
And he's
I
like,
thought I was
"Hey,
dying.
something's wrong."
This
Like,
guy like
something's
almost went to
exploded.
the ER for the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Same thing.
horrible.
I'm at work. He's like, I'm gonna go to the ER. No, the fuck you're not. We don't do that. Why
be a
are
bitch.
you on the ground? Maddie, our daughter's sitting on the ground. Dad's on the ground. He's holding his back. I'm like, oh dang, that sucks.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Comes
bye.
on quick too.
It does, dude.
It's like when it gets caught. You're
I
like,
actually
oh, what the fuck?
I actually got lucky because we were flying back from Atlanta. I did a hard weight cut in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And
There it is.
then we went drinking all night.
Yeah.
To excess.
Great
There it
great
is.
idea.
Yeah,
I got
Dehydration
I got
to the
poured into an
T.
Uber.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Johnny Tran was a sweetheart. Johnny Tran was putting like water bottles outside of my door. I opened my door in the morning, like 3 water bottles. He goes, I didn't know if you were going to drink those. I just kept putting them there. Like, no, buddy. But yeah, hard weight cut. Flew back.
Yeah.
Not an issue on the plane, thank God. Grabbed my check-in bag. By the time I got to the like parking,
Yep.
I was doubled over in pain.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, it was bad, dude.
And then they called me from his phone, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to take him to the Banner ER." And of course, I work for Dignity Health, so I was
No,
like,
you're
you're
not.
not taking him to Banner." So because I'm like, I don't want to pay out of pocket for this shit,
Yeah.
right? And he
I
was
was
so
ready-
mad.
I was
He
ready to go to a
so
fucking
mad.
witch doctor. I don't,
Yeah, he's like,
somebody
I
get
don't,
this shit done.
I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck who you're taking me to. Just get this pain gone, right?
Should have
I'm
been
like,
Warrior Hydration.
right?
right.
Yes.
Well, you didn't exist at
Just
the
say-
time.
I know,
To
but
be
next
fair,
time.
you
Next
did not
time.
exist at the time.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. Something always happens Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh
worry.
my God. Yeah. it
Oh
does.
yeah, I love those parties.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
We did
Yeah.
that last one.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I
was
made
fun.
them go to a Dignity Health ER, and I met them there, and he was so mad at me because he was in so much pain. And I'm like, I could have been in the ER 10 minutes ago, but I had to go to this one because you're a bitch. And I'm like, yeah. He didn't say that. I'm paraphrasing.
So yeah, so they said we can't give you anything till a doctor comes. I'm like, you don't have a fucking doctor?
Yeah.
Like,
ER.
yeah.
It's one of those
Oh, it's a
standalone
standalone.
ERs. Yeah.
Oh, so they're seeing another patient right now because there was probably one in the ER.
There was
Yeah.
one.
He was cool. He was cool. But by the time,
I still need to be treated.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh my God. He was panicking.
Yeah.
I looked very different on my way out. So
Yeah.
everybody's like, you look way better. Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate it, asshole.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna
my
wrap.
God.
We're gonna wrap up. But thank you guys for coming.
Thanks
This
for
was
having
awesome.
us.
us.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is awesome.
All right, everybody, if you love the show or if you hate the show, please give us a review. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, all that stuff. I want to thank Bioprotein Technology. Use the code Foxcast to get a discount, and that's the best way to support the show. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you. All right.